One lane twisted through the blindfolded dusk, where grip and instinct is all I trust. Others hesitate, I combust. Thread the needle, no room for us. Behind me they're just ghostly sparks. I've mapped this turn inside my heart. You don't fake what sets you apart. It's not just speed, it's the arc. You can chase the light, stay on track with the shortcut carved through pitch black. No safety net, no looking back. Just throttle deep and counteract. This is the turn that breaks you, where the timing must be pure. The line that shakes and takes you, no map, no cure. I trade straightaways for fade, drift through risk and never wait. The jungle lap betrays you, unless you dominate.
Yeah, here we go for the 100th time. Engine scream, burning rubber, no rewind. Joker series chaos in the night, lights glow. Pedal to the metal, let the madness flow. Gotta burn it up in the Joker series, burn it down. Push the limit, hear the crowd scream and shout. Flash shining answer for your love. Against every fumble, that's all my love. One twist, one trick, one path that breaks the map. The fool with the crown takes the Joker lap. Don't run with the rules, we redraw the lines. Paint my wheels in chaos, cut time with knives. Split second grin with the sideways slide. Gesture in the mirror, madness in my drive. Tires scream, I hear him laughing. of the wrist, twist of the cap. I win dirty, call it Joker leg. Chrome bells hang from the rearview mirror. Every move I make cuts close to fear. Neutral in code, chaotic in soul. I bend each checkpoint into a black hole. No good, no evil, just the thrill. Clown crown bound by my own free will. No script, no fate, no final map. Just smoke and mirrors in the Joker lab. Thought I saw him once on a midnight bend. A grin like fire, a curve with no end. Did he win? Did he fall? Did the race collapse? No one knows. Past the Joker lap. Yeah, back bend, I beat the trap. Text button mind in a synapse snap. Loop my lane in a twisted map. Burn through time on the Joker lap. Laugh while you race while you play. We fools take the road, I carve my own way.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Salamander Racing, and welcome to the inaugural running of the Joker series. This has been a bit of a work in progress. Happy to finally get this underway. I'm going to be joined today by a couple of hosts. I've got my good buddy TCase here in the booth with me. Hey, TCase, how you doing today?
Oh, I am doing fantastic. I was so pumped when you brought this to my attention, what you were doing, what you were thinking, and inviting me along for the journey. So happy to be here, Sal. How are you?
I'm great. I'm excited. I'm really happy to get this underway. We've also got a man who's known by many names. We call him Misfit Covington. We call him Velvet Thunder. But here in the booth, we call him Tuzzenbox. Tuzzenbox, welcome. How you doing today?
I'm doing excellent. I am very excited for this series, especially this race in particular. But yeah, I'm super glad, super excited to be here.
Awesome. All right, so for those of us, or for everybody that's watching, just a real quick rundown of what we're doing here. The Joker series is kind of based on the concept of the Joker lap. It's something that originated in Rallycross, and it's something that we're bringing to Gran Turismo 7. It's a bit outside the bounds and parameters of what the game does, so there's some additional rules and enforcement and driver etiquette that the drivers need to follow in order for this to happen. But essentially, you have one lap where you have to take a little bit of extra track. And what that is dependent on the track. So for this month, what we're doing is the Daytona Tri-Oval. We'll get into the round info in just a second. But we're doing the Daytona Tri-Oval, and it's the bus stop chicane, or the Le Mans chicane, is the Joker lap. So one lap out of the laps that they're doing today has to be gone through that Joker section. So the drivers have all been briefed. We've got the website out there. It is pinned in the chat. If anybody wants to go there and check out how this all works, read up on the rules, you definitely got to read the rules so you understand what's going on here, then you can always join us, or you can just sit and watch. It's going to be a good time. So, all right, so first things first, let's go through the race settings for today. TCase, you want to take us through what we got going on?
Absolutely. So we have 40 laps here at the Daytona Tri-Oval with one Joker lap in there. Drivers are going to be on the sport medium tires. We got fuel burn at 2x, and we have the refuel rate at 4 liters per second. 3 car options out there. We got the Corvette, the 2009 ZR1 C6, We got the Ford GT from 2017, and we have the Dodge Viper GTS from 2013.
Yeah, so I mean, really, this is gonna be a fun race. I mean, 40 laps at Daytona. It goes by quick. I mean, it seems like a lot, but it actually goes by pretty quickly. Um, with that being said, we've got some keys to the race here. There's certain things that drivers are going to have to kind of be on the lookout for in order to make sure that they have a successful race. That first key to the race is find a buddy. We're at Daytona, we're at the Tri-Oval, drafting's a thing. So definitely you want to make sure that when you take your pit stop, when you take your joker lap, you want to do it with a buddy. You get caught out not having any slipstream that can really have an impact on your race.
Indeed, and a second key there, Sal, is to be ready to adapt. Adaptability really is key around here. Just like having a buddy, um, the race is going to unfold. You want to take the joker lap with somebody. That doesn't always come at the same time you were thinking you want to take your joker lap. So you're going to need to be able to adapt to what the people are doing around you so that you don't get caught out and kind of left alone without any slip. The third key to this race is to get the joker lap right. Now, this is the inaugural event of the series, and on this track, it could potentially be one of, if not the most difficult joker laps to complete. You're traveling at almost 200 miles an hour, in some cases maybe even faster, and you have to slam on the brakes of these American supercars and navigate the Le Mans chicane safely. If you have to back out of it, it's going to result in a penalty. And even if you do get the car slowed down, you
Have to navigate that tricky section. These cars are very powerful rear-wheel drive cars. So just the slightest misinput on the throttle, and you can find yourself spinning in the wrong direction.
I don't think they heard us when that. Okay. Never mind.
All right, some technical difficulties there. For some reason, the Discord audio wasn't working on that one, but I think we've got it nailed down. So what TCase was saying you couldn't hear is to be ready to adapt for the race. There's definitely instances where trying to take that joker lap at the right time with somebody goes right along with being a buddy. If that doesn't happen, you need to be able to adapt, to what's going on around you. And like Tuzum said, this is the first time we're doing this. Going around at 200 miles an hour plus, trying to get that joker lap right. It's tricky. It's not the same as when you take the Daytona road course. So there we go. All right, so we got our first technical glitch out of the way, and hopefully
That's part of it.
we don't have any more for the rest. So Tuzum, I was going to let you talk some more about maybe what are some of the unique strategies we're going to see unfold today. Given this new paradigm that we're trying to explore here.
Right. So on top of the three keys that we just went over, one thing to keep in mind, this is quite important, is that the wall penalties are on. And this isn't just a simple flat out 40 lap race. These cars on sports mediums, it will be a little bit difficult to navigate these corners, even with that 31-degree banking. One thing to keep in mind is that if drivers do end up getting a penalty, the braking zone for the penalty is around the same spot as the braking zone as if you were to take a joker lap. So what we might see is some drivers waiting until the very last minute, which in this case would be the penultimate lap, to save that little bit of a sort of a penalty buffer, so that if they do end up getting a penalty, they can pull over to the side, serve that penalty, but then also serve their joker lap at the same time. We might see some other drivers just get it out of the way early on. Whatever they decide to do, however, as TK's mentioned, they're really going to want a draft buddy for this race, because Daytona Oval without a draft partner, you're going to be up to a second slower, possibly even more, depending on the car of your choice.
Yep, all great points. Things that people need to look out for. For the drivers, some of those. I'm sure the drivers have all read through all the rules. Some of the additional stuff that the viewers may not know is that like turn signals are required. When you're going to take your Joker lap, there is a commit zone that you essentially need to have your turn signal on to let the people behind you knowing that you're going to be braking in a section of the track where everybody's normally going flat out. So the drivers need to be able to notify each other that they're doing that. The people in the draft need to pay attention to make sure that they don't overlook the fact that the guy in front has signaled that he's going to be, braking here shortly, and you need to avoid them. So a lot of stuff goes into this. With that being said, I'm going to turn this over to TCase and Tuzum. They're going to run this from here on out. I will be back after the first split as we go over the results, but I'm going to go into the lobby, make sure the drivers are all set to go, and see if we can get qualifying underway. So ta-ta for now. I'll be back in a bit. Take it away, guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sal. I'm so pumped about this, Tuzum. You and I have done our fair share of practice and testing lobbies. Do you wish you were doing this race right now?
I mean, yes and no. I'm definitely happy to be here in a booth. But yeah, this is definitely going to be a challenge. Like, as I mentioned before, just simply navigating the Joker properly in this combination, it's going to be quite difficult. But I'm watching the practice sessions right now, and a lot of the drivers they're struggling to get that breaking point just right. They still got a few minutes of practice left, so hopefully they can nail those breaking points and hopefully have a smooth 40-lap race.
Indeed. Yeah, nailing the breaking point. You think you got it. You think you have it under control because we all love Daytona road course, right? And we know where to brake, but when you're on the oval, the tri-oval, you're carrying more speed, but also all your markers and stuff aren't there. You do have still the little black, I don't know what they are, if they're lights or what they are, little things on the catch fence, but you don't have the braking numbers like you have when you do the Daytona road course. And then when you're doing it with other drivers around you, if you go into the safety zone with your turn signal on, that's not the line you would normally take. So I know in our testing and what we've seen in practice, drivers absolutely overshoot it. And I saw in the chat there, Papa was asking about if they mess up the bus stop. If you miss your breaking point and then just keep going on the tri-oval, yeah, you're going to have to try it again. If you absolutely obliterate the grass, depending on if you gained or lose time, you might be assessed a penalty afterwards, but you won't have to do it again. If you make a valiant attempt and you get off the tri-oval, it'll be up to stewards afterwards to determine whether or not you lost enough time making a blunder of it, or if you need to be assigned a penalty. But if you just outbrake yourself and you stay on the tri-oval, yeah, you're going to have to come back around and try to do it again.
That's breaking into that the Joker zone. If you get that wrong, that's going to be about 5, 6, 7 seconds that you lose just simply hitting the brakes, losing all that speed, having to build yourself up again. Honestly, it could potentially even be more than that. So it's really crucial that you get that breaking point down just right. Like, we cannot stress how important, but also how tricky that braking zone is. Like I said, these cars are going 200 miles an hour, and American cars, they're not known for having amazing brakes. So
no, they go fast, but stopping is not their top priority. And we're on sports tires. We are not on the typical racing tires that have all that grip. So these are road cars on sport tires, and they have so much power. 3 different cars, and they're kind of all different from what we saw in our testing. We know the Corvette is the quickest, but it is a bit of a gas guzzler. So that's going to definitely have to be a strategy. As I hear, qualifying is about to get underway. Excited to see how qualifying turns out. Now, qualifying does not have a Joker lap. So this is just tri-oval qualifying. and Tessam and I were just talking about what cars we use during our testing. I was using the Ford GT. I liked it. It was a little bit easier to go flat out in the corners. And then Tessam was saying how he liked the top end of the Corvette. However, the fuel definitely is a factor. And looking at this beautiful Joker livery from the proprietor, y'all, PHG, Papa's House of Game, looking fly in that Ford GT. Next to him is C-Dubs in a Joker Series PHG Dodge Viper, going side by side on display. And who is that? That is my boy Leo with the tool livery and my bleach beard self on the back. Always love to see it. Thanks, Leo. Nasty in the Ford GT. Tessam, did you try the other cars or did you just stick with the Corvette?
I did drive the other two cars. I started with the Viper. The Viper is just one of my all-around favorite cars of all time. Yeah, I did try the Viper and the Ford GT. As far as like the oval, I didn't really notice too much of a difference in handling between the three. Like I said, just the top end of the Corvette kind of pulled me a bit more.
And I mean, it is fast. We're seeing this right here. Look at Metal just pulling there on Ecstasy a bit, looking to find a partner, but the only thing Metal will do is make Ecstasy faster. Metal currently on pole, but he could do Ecstasy a favor if he starts bump tracking him. But no, he knows he's got the power and is pulling away there. Now Ecstasy can take advantage of that slipstream. Papa just behind in the Viper. Looking like Papa in P2, looking good. Everybody's, we got a couple packs and then a couple Lone Rangers, if you will, out there. If you look at the top right-hand corner of your screen, you'll see the track map. The car that we're on board with is in red. The rest of the cars are in blue. And we see Papa going low. You would think Leo would be going a bit quicker in that Corvette, but maybe the slipstream from up ahead allowed him to get by. What do you think about that, Tessa? Papa goes pole.
Sure. Wow, Papa in the Viper.
In the Viper.
That's impressive, yeah. Yeah, I think Leo, I mean, he's still got about a minute, so he'll be able to get this lap and one lap in. So I see he's behind another trading car, so he should be able to improve on that qualifying time. We should expect to see him in the mid-42s if all goes well.
I think we're seeing the slipstream really, because that was one thing when we were doing our testing and our practicing. I never was slipstreaming with anybody. I was always by myself. So we're really seeing how strong that is. Having the Viper up there, using the toe of these other cars as he again improves his time. Papa showing his dominance at the Daytona Tri-Oval, and he has been here, and I have witnessed him here in person. We got to go to the 24 hours of Daytona together, and so he knows this track well. He's walked its grounds. He slept just outside turn 1. Looks like we're on our final lap, and nobody's able to use much slip here as they go 3 wide. It was interesting taking the line. I did notice you could, if you didn't get your turn in just right, washing out up high onto the wall can definitely affect you, especially with the wall penalties being turned on. That 1.5 second penalty isn't great to have around here.
It's definitely a killer. 1.5 seconds of heavy on the brakes is going to drop you down to probably around like 100, 110 miles an hour, which it's not fast enough on this circuit. I don't know if you know, but
right.
Yeah, you want to keep that above 200 if at all possible.
Well, Papa seeming to maintain pole position. Very, very incredible. Let's take a look at these qualifying results. We have Papa, like I said, on pole with a 42.335, followed by Metal in the Corvette ZR1 with a 42.517. Then we have the Ford GT and Ecstasy with a 42.711. So that's all 3 cars in the top 3. Very interesting to see Leo in P4 in the Corvette with a 42.838. Then we have C-Dubs, our fellow commentator, who couldn't join us tonight in the booth, but is able to join us tonight in the race, and I love to see it. He is in the Dodge Viper with a 43.048. Then we have Angry Fredbird in the Viper as well with a 43.181. PHG Nasty in the Ford GT with a 43.462. And then we have Geezer Gears, aka Turtle Shell, who has also been to this track. Went to see the race with him as well with a 43.512. If you don't know, he is also aka Turtle Shell. Then we have Speed Bump also in the Ford GT with a 43.670. So I'm guessing those guys there at the bottom didn't have a buddy. So they missed that first key to the race. Wouldn't you say, Tussum?
Yeah, definitely. But, hopefully in this qualifying session, they've learned their lesson. Yeah, this is going to be 40 laps of just nonstop action. And, these cars, as we've seen, they're not super easy to take around these corners. So it's going to be crucial that those in the back, they maintain the gaps and, try to hold on to the overall pack. And again, if they see one person taking that Joker lap, they might want to, go beside them and, just try to, as you mentioned, just stay together as best as they can.
Stay together, indeed. And I can't wait for that first person to take the Joker lap. Part of me wants it to go terribly wrong. That's the mean in me. And then part of me is like, oh, I hope you just nail it. You hit it perfectly and show everybody how it's done. Which one are you more looking forward to?
I don't know. Like, honestly, I want it all to be clean just so that we can get, some really, really close racing towards the end of this race. Because, like, I want to see, like, all of the Joker strategies all come together in the end. Like, we've got, say, 2 cars up ahead who haven't taken their Joker lap. It's lap 39, and they take their Joker laps, and then they're getting chased down by the rest of the pack. I want to see that last minute action just before they cross that line for the last time.
Yes, me too. I hope to lose my voice, honestly. Like, I hope if y'all heard me do other broadcasts, I can get a bit excited. So I'm hoping that I get excited for this one. And I'm so happy to see how many people are in here for the first one. I think if we have people who are up for doing it a second one, we'll run through and do another one. So if y'all are enjoying this and liking what you're seeing, not only should you hit the like button, the subscribe button, the notification bell, all those things, you should consider joining in the second race. There's a link pinned in the chat that'll take you to the website, which will have all the rules. There are quite a few rules, but it's a great series. It's going to be fun, and it sounds like the drivers are getting to the grid, and we're about to get this race underway. The very first Jokers series. And I don't know. I don't think anything like this has been done in Gran Turismo that's been at least broadcasted. So I'm very excited to see what this is like as we ride on board with Papa in pole position in the Dodge Viper. Let's see how this gets started. We're having a rolling start here at Daytona, and we are underway. And of course, I was about to say, and of course everybody lines up, but no, Ecstasy full send. Looks like that Ford GT off the line is a beast. That's another thing we didn't test, is how quickly these guys get started. Or what do you think, Tussum? Are some people running a fuel map?
I don't know. It's too early to say. I would assume that everybody will start off on maximum fuel. I also watched. See who it was. We got Bud Nasty is actually electing to take the Joker lap now, and he was the only driver to take that Joker lap. So he's going to be in here, but he now does not have that slipstream advantage.
And unfortunately, one of the rules, which is why we say you need to read the rules, is you cannot do the Joker lap on the opening lap or your out lap. So that's definitely a no-no and will be penalized. As we see up there, Papa falling back, running way up high. SSC now in P1. C-Dubs in P2. Papa is out of the slipstream and falling back. He tucks back in just behind Metal and in front of Angry Fredbird. And here we are, single file again.
P7 and P8, they both try to take the Joker lap. Hickbig is run into the wall, and
Oh, no.
Tears. Looks like he did cut. Couldn't quite get the best view, but yes, very unfortunate from Buck Nasty. He does pick up, well, not Buck Nasty. Hickbig picks up a 1.5 second penalty.
C-Dub. Good, considering. Geezer Gears, unfortunately, we saw on the Joker replay. Big shout out to Salamander. Look at these graphics, y'all. New leader, we got the Joker lap graphic, and Papa is back on pole. So,
P6, Angry Fredbird, we have another failed Joker attempt.
another.
It looked like it was done. I got to it just a little bit too late.
It's SC all over the bumper of Papa, pushing hard. I think some of these drivers are going to go long. It's interesting to see how the strategies are playing out and the adaptability. So we do have a pack further back, so they've managed Oh my goodness. Well done. You can tell Papa practiced that one that was textbook. And now Essecy in the lead of this race. I just now am realizing I should have had a piece of paper with a list of the drivers so I can check off when they took their Joker lap. As we see Leo in the background scraping the walls there. A lot of us are used to doing this in Group 3 cars on racing tires, and we're seeing that it's a lot more difficult as Metal heavy on the brake. Leo follows just behind, no issues there. And looking like these drivers are looking to get rid of their Joker laps early, but now they have such a gap. Leo managing to stay in P3 with that Joker being done, but he is going to be trying to gain speed the rest of the way around the track while those behind can continue to catch. We look at Metal in P2 with Leo just behind. Leo really going up here in his rainbow tooled TCase Corvette, getting it 84 miles an hour. Everyone else going 200, but I mean, he's still 10 seconds, 9 seconds ahead. We'll see. Do you think Leo and Metal can catch him here, SSC? Or Tessa?
It's going to be really close. I think he played that really smart, played the Joker lap. That's a very nice opportunity. He doesn't want to lose too much time to Metal and Leo. If they're working together, they're going to be a lot faster than that 4GT, especially being in the Corvette, higher top end.
Yeah, indeed. And you can see it now down to 2 seconds. That is impressive. And who is that? Who do I see? Oh, it's Mr. PHG. Look at him coming up in the Corvette in the Viper back up onto the podium position and really carrying a lot of speed. And now we're going to start seeing a little tire wear. We're going to start seeing some fuel. So I'm curious, Tussum, you're able to scroll through there. Anybody else really hurting on fuel, or is everybody about the same?
Specifically looking at the Corvettes, Metal is at about 66% fuel, but Leo also the Corvette is a little bit lower, just about 59%.
Interesting.
A lot of the drivers are kind of hovering around that 1/3 fuel usage so far. I would say Leo right now is the outlier. Actually, Papa, his fuel, and then Viper is also just a little bit low compared to the other drivers as well.
Interesting, interesting. And we see several drivers going side by side, not wanting to work together. But I mean, in my opinion, if you've already served your Joker, it's time to start bump drafting and get a move on. Interesting to see those drivers going side by side, or maybe they didn't quite feel comfortable bump drafting in the corners. It's a rule of thumb of mine, is I turn on the counter steer and stuff anytime I do Daytona Tri-Oval. I just turn it on automatically. You can bump draft all you want and not risk losing it nearly as much. Papa up into P2. And that's a very skinny windshield there, but he is gaining on Estasy under half a second. You see them coming around, about to start lap 10. So ideally, you pit lap 20, lap 22, depending on what car you're in, change tires, and then finish out the race. Is that right, Tessa?
Yeah, and I think the only driver that might struggle to reach lap 10, or excuse me, lap 20, is Leo, as he is the only driver under half a tank of fuel. So he'll make it to the pits, I think, if he continues at this rate. But with that 4 liter per second refuel rate, that's really going to hurt his overall time. That's going to put him a little bit further back in the pack.
Indeed, as we look on board, Papa now all over the back of Estasy. Are they going to work together? It looks like it. It looks like Papa's saying, hey, let's just keep pushing. We know the top end these Corvettes have. If we work together, Metal and Leo aren't going to be able to do anything because they are unable to work together as Leo goes out wide a little bit. Bump drafting is going to help with fuel, so that is good news for the Corvettes. But I like this. I like Dodge and Ford working together so they can take on Chevrolet. As Papa goes up the inside, SSC not able to take the optimal line here, running way up high. He's going to tuck back underneath as we have a new leader. A new leader in the proprietor, Mr. PHG himself. SSC is going to try to work with them. They are in matching liveries, though. They are in different manufacturers. Inverse liveries there with the red and black and then the black and red. I like it. I believe these were Salamander design liveries with a little added touch by the drivers. Tuzum, I know you would be in a black and purple livery out there. Metal looking nice, running in the Corvette. Just under a half a tank of fuel, so he's doing great, actually. He's doing really great on the fuel. Tire wear starting to show up in that front right, and that's when the penalty system's going to come into play, because at some point one of these drivers is going to try to take one of these turns a little too fast and end up in the wall. Leo trying to use that slipstream, help him save fuel, because oh my, he's almost down to a quarter of a tank. It's going to be tricky for him to make it to the end, but he also has gone purple. So Leo showing us what's up as he bumps Metal, gives him a nice little push, and they are working on gaining on the leaders, but they are 1.6 seconds behind there. So Papa and SSC working together, able to pull away. I wonder if they are using a fuel map on the Corvettes, which is why the two cars working together are able to pull ahead. Do you think?
Yeah, I'm starting to suspect that Metal is running a lower fuel map because his fuel compared to Leo. Metal's used a lot less fuel so far, so yeah, I definitely suspect Metal's going to try to go over the spin. But the only issue is that if he comes out of the pits without a draft buddy, it might make it a little difficult because of the computers. However, he does have a fuel advantage over Papa, and he's about even on fuel with STC. So I would say keep an eye on STC and Metal to see when they come out of the pits, or even when they come into the pits. I think that's going to be. I think they might be the ones contending for the victory.
Awesome. And do you think having slightly fresher tires gets you any advantage here? Like maybe 2 to 4 lap fresher tires at the end?
I definitely think so. This track absolutely destroys the outside tires because that's doing all the work. So if you can keep those tires in better condition for longer, then you'll be able to carry more speeds around these corners. So that's definitely going to help if they can extend their first speed.
Well, we are starting lap 16 of 40, so we are getting close to that pit window. Nasty back in P6 and the Ford GT just outside of slipstream range. Aside from those two clusters up front, it seems like the Joker lap has taken its toll, where drivers didn't come out with their buddy. We saw most of them take it with another car, but several cars not make it out with their buddy. Geezer Gears being one of them, unfortunately, back there in P8. I do love his livery, though, changing it to the orange and yellow. Looking fresh on that Viper. He has taken his Joker lap, but we can see his turn signal still on. If you're listening, Turtle Shell, turn that signal off. I think that's something people are going to have to get used to. I have my turn signals mapped, and I know where they are. I know not everybody does that, especially if you're on pad. So we look back on board with our leaders, S to C and P2, Papa in P1 looking nice. They have a just over a second gap on Leo, who has decided to go in the pits because he is out of fuel. Leo with 1% of fuel, leaving his Corvette buddy high and dry. Metal was making good progress on SSC, but look at that. He's already dropped back 4 seconds to SSC, and unfortunately is going to be, I mean, he's going to have a lot of slow laps. As soon as you lose your buddy, you're going a lot slower. Look at these guys. SSC going 215 miles an hour there on the straight, pushing Papa along. When you're running by yourself, you're maybe going 200. So that's a big difference. I think we're going to end up running into lap traffic depending on how this goes. And Leo is now, I believe, a lap down, still in the pits. That refuel rate, huge, as he's now coming out, and he's going to have to make this last longer than he did previously. Otherwise, Leo's looking at a 2-stop, wouldn't you say, Tuzem?
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully he's looking at the race that's unfolded so far, and realize that if he does want to avoid another lap plus long pit stop, he'll have to make that tank last a little bit longer than what he did on his first stint.
Now, me being an American and not paying attention in school, liters mean nothing to me, except for when you're talking about cola. So when I see 4 liters a second, I'm like, I don't know what that equates to. I don't know what 4 liters equates to. Well, we see that it equates to when you have to refuel your whole tank. It is a full lap. SSC taking the lead because Papa choosing to go in the pits, and it seems like people are excuse me, taking the pits out of necessity and not out of strategy.
Yeah, it's it's the fuel burner. These cars are running full throttle about 94-95% of the lap. You know, these engines are huge. They're gonna burn through the fuel. So STC is in the pit along with Metal. Let's see if anybody else is coming. Fredbird is also coming into the pits. Curious to see where they're going to come out as they continue to take the temporary lead before he makes his pit stop. Fredbird came in with absolutely zero fuel. Another keep an eye on Papa to see where he comes out in comparison to the leaders. Just coming around the turn 3 now. And even the drivers that are coming out of pits, it's going to take them a little while to get back up to speed.
Yeah, but Nasty's caught up to Leo, so he's not quite in the slipstream, but definitely, actually he is in the slipstream as he goes into the pits. So I believe every driver has taken the Joker from what I've seen, and we're about to get another new leader with PHG SSC in P2, looking to get around the final set of turns and come out ahead of Nasty, even though he did run a lap with nobody. Z-Dub's getting a full tank of fuel back there, coming out of the pits. Where is this going to put us? Look how slow that is. So slow. I hate being at the gas station and you get the slow pump. As Ecstasy now takes the lead, but look at Papa. Or is that Leo behind him? No, that is Papa. Okay. Papa not far off, so it's just a matter of making your fuel last to the end. Looks like everybody got fresh tires. And now we got ourselves a drag race. So strategy not playing out in the exciting way we had hoped for this first race, but still with those drivers who made the big mistakes on the Joker, it has definitely shaken things up, and we could run into some interesting stuff come the end of this race.
I got an eye on metal. I'm not sure what happens now. 9 seconds behind Papa. I'm not sure if something happened before the pit stop. That gap was increased just a little bit compared to where they were before the pit stops.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if he maybe overmapped his fuel. Maybe he was playing it too safe and now has fallen back, because it looks like he's starting to gain again. So maybe he's just trying to find that balance of making his fuel last to the end and trying to gain. So we got Ecstasy in the lead, Papa in P2. It really seems like off the line that Ford GT was just a rocket ship, and that's really why we're seeing Ecstasy where he is at the moment.
Ford GT is the only car out of this group with 7 gears, so maybe those closing gear ratios help it a little bit with its acceleration off the line.
Indeed. Angry Fredbird gaining on Nasty. Oh! Own it! And that's into the wall, and that's a penalty. Angry Fredbird trying to make a move around the outside, gets a little squirrely, and even picks up damage. So not only is that a 1.5 second penalty, that is damage as well. And look, he's in the slip. Is he going for a move? Yeah, because they're coming on the straight, and just, it gets loose a bit, and he's trying to save it. And there he is, tags the wall, damages that right rear tire, and that is going to upset his race quite a bit when he serves that penalty. One of the things we talked about was that it might be advantageous to you to wait till as long as you can, or until you get a penalty, to do your Joker lap on this track specifically, because the penalty line is just before the braking zone of your Joker lap. So it's going to help slow your car down. You're already on a slow lap, you might as well. But since everybody went ahead and took their Joker lap, they're not able to do that. And unfortunately, that might allow Geezer Gears to take P6 off Angry Fredbird with that mistake.
Yeah, I sort of suspect what happened was when the initial Joker lap started happening, the drivers up ahead, they didn't really get caught out. So 1 by 1, 2 by 2, the drivers kept taking the Joker lap just so that they can gauge the competition and maybe just keep a closer eye on what
Indeed, and that is all 3 keys to this race have been played out. We got find a buddy, that's played out. We have adaptability, those drivers up front deciding to adapt to what's happening behind them, and then we have get the Joker lap right. And we've seen several drivers unable to pull off that Joker lap cleanly. Papa has caught Ecstasy. He is flying around here. This man is a master of the Daytona Tri-Oval. Very, very impressive. And it looks like he's going for it. Nope, he tucks back in. Tuzzum, I'm curious, would you rather be in the lead or just follow behind until the end and go for that overtake? Or would you rather get it done now and just try to maintain it?
So any high-speed race at Daytona, I treated it like a game of Mario Kart. And you never want to be in the lead when you start the final lap, because you are at huge risk of getting drafted fuel save, and he can keep a good eye on the gap behind. He's got almost 10 seconds at this point, so pretty much they can control the pace as much as they want. But Papa's really going to be able to save that fuel and just unleash it all for the final shootout.
I mean, it looks like, I mean, we're on lap 29. They both have over a half a tank of gas, so they should be good. I'm looking forward to that drag race, maybe even photo finish across the line. That's one of my favorite things about racing these high-speed oval tracks like this, and Route X is just how exciting that final across the line. As Metal all alone out there, we see Nasty and Leo getting past Nasty. Leo back up into P4, but again, he's got to make that fuel last. He wasn't able to make it last for the first stint. Hopefully he's figured something out, but overtaking Nasty makes me think he isn't going to make it to the end.
Yeah, it's going to be a struggle. Yeah, maybe he's planning on a two-stop, which will put him way behind, but hopefully he's got a close eye on his fuel gauge and make some adjustments. He still has some time to make some adjustments and maintain P4, but he is going to be under attack from Nasty, assuming that Nasty can stay in the slipstream, which at this point he's just hanging on, but he's dropping further and further back.
Indeed. Leo trying to make his way back up to his Corvette teammate of Metal, but I mean 5.7, he's got to make that fuel. He's ahead of Nasty. Angry Fredbird, who we saw had that penalty. What? Leo's coming in again. That is another pit stop for Leo. He realized he wouldn't make it. Instead of doing a long pit for gas, he's doing a shorter one, trying to get just enough to get to the end, but that's going to cause him to lose out quite a bit. Now down into last place.
No, anything can happen here. All it takes is just one extremely catastrophic crash, and he could be back up in the top. Will that happen? It's unlikely, but again, anything can happen. This race is far from over.
Far from over, indeed, and all it takes is one whoopsie daisy, as we saw from Angry Fredbird earlier, to set yourself back. But looking good sitting in P5, all things considered. He's got just under half a tank of fuel. We're on lap 32 of 40. We are in the latter half of this race as we see Fly America taking off in the background. Papa still in P2 behind Ecstasy. Both looking good on tires and fuel. Now just working together to push their way ahead. They've got a very good gap on Metal in the background there. So they are definitely dominating this race. Two PHG members, one Canadian, one American, working together. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. See, they get a little bit of gap going into the turn, as it is hard to maintain the speed. The last thing Papa wants to do is to unsettle his car and do what Turtle Gears did, and Geezer Gears, aka Turtle Shell. I combined both names, and hit the wall. Looking at Metal, 14 seconds off of Papa. Still sitting in no man's land, 6 seconds ahead of Nasty. So very well cleared. Nasty being the and then as we look with Metal being all alone, he's hitting 215 there, 216, 217 before getting into the turn and losing all that speed. And now we're going to see Papa here in the slipstream, 206, as they get through turn one. And when they get on this back straight, it'll be interesting to see how much quicker they go. Metal was just briefly able to get to 217, but here they are well in the slipstream on the straight. They're 208, 209. And coming around the final turn back onto the start-finish straight. So a big difference in pace. That is incredible to see how much power that Corvette has. Papa only able to get to maybe 206, so that's over a 10-mile-an-hour difference. How long do you think it'll take for him to catch Tuzzin?
That's if he catches. I'm looking at Metal's tire wear and his front right tire. Oh, he just clips the wall coming out of or entering the first corner. He's going to be struggling for grip if he's not already struggling.
Oh, wow. Did he not take tires, or is that just the tire wear from him pushing?
I think that's just the tire wear. I doubt anybody would be able to survive this without a tire change.
He got lucky not to get a penalty there. That's for sure. And as Papa and Essasi had caught lap traffic, I would have thought they might have stayed tucked into the slip a little bit more. They seem to opt to try to clear that traffic as quickly as possible. Nasty back in P4 in the 4GT, about to start his 37th lap and not too far behind. Angry Fredbird caught back up. He's not going to get pushed down. He wants to be higher than P5, and he might be able to get a tire wear. Not looking great on that front left, but it looks like he's got enough fuel to make it to the end. We will see. Geezer Gears also in the Viper, looking about the same. Back in P6, off in no man's land. C-Dubs, they're in the lap traffic. Oh, and you can see that SC and Papa just behind using his slipstream as well. Let's see if they're able to get by cleanly. They're staying tucked in. And there goes SSC. Papa stays tucked in to C-Dubs before he goes low and tucks back in behind SSC. Looking like Papa may go for a move. SSC gets a little wiggle off of that bump. But no, they stay P1 and P2 the same. Moving their way through lap traffic.
They had actually overtaken C-Dubs, but C-Dubs actually unlapped himself. So if this stays as it is and C-Dubs gets back in front of this group, that could be the thorn in Papa's side that prevents him from that draft overtake towards the end.
Oh, that is exciting. As Papa says, no, I need to take it now. We got 2 laps to go. They're going side by side. I think Papa was listening to you, Tessa, saying, oh, I got to get this done now. This isn't going to work. They do not touch. I thought they were about to touch right there. Still going side by side. SSC able to stay on the inside, getting that shorter line. And there is C-Dubs just behind, trying to unlap himself as they're going to lose time. This is only going to play out in Metal's favor. Unfortunately, too far behind. It is the final lap of the Joker Series, and SSC is our leader. Papa falling back, C-Dubs falling in between the two. This is just what you were talking about, Tuzin. This is getting in Papa's way. He's able to use the slipstream, but now has a car between him and SSC. He has to get by. Otherwise, he's going to be settling for P2, losing that pole position. Back there looking for a way around into the final turn. Papa getting a run on the inside, but SSC in the way. Nothing Papa can do. SSC in P1, Papa P2. Unfortunately, C-Dubs a lap down, making the ending of our first Joker Series race very spicy. Metal coming across the line. Oh no.
Fredbird had taken P4 from Nasty, but he's run out of fuel. So now he's up to P5. No. Geezer is coming around the final corner. He's coasting to the finish line with nothing left, dropping down 110 miles an hour. It's
it's over. They were so far ahead. Oh my gosh. So far ahead that there was nothing to be done. Victory. Ecstasy. All right. Tezem, take us through this race results.
Absolutely. So taking the win by a very narrow margin, Ecstasy in the 4GT. PHG Papa just a split second behind, takes P2. And Metal will round out the podium All 3 cars represented on the podium, just like in qualifying. On P4, Nasty in the Ford GT. P5, Angry Fredbird, got saved by the bell, ran out of fuel as he was approaching the line. P6, Geezer Gears. P7 is C-Dubs. And P8, we have Leo getting the strat just a bit wrong, a lap down.
A bit.
And Speed Bump will be listed as a DNF for this split.
Wow. Wow. Well, that was interesting to say the least. I don't think that went quite as we thought it would. Sitting here reflecting on it, I'm trying to think of who I want my driver of the race to be, and I think that would be Ecstasy. He gained several positions and then was able to use C-Dubs, a back marker, to save him from the what looked like an inevitable overtake from Papa. What do you think, Tessam?
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to give my driver of the day to Papa. C-Dubs, he was definitely the thorn in the side. I think Papa might be writing up a reprimand for him, but no, those two, they played the strat absolutely perfectly, nailed the Joker lap. They stuck together pretty much the whole race, so they were listening to the keys of the race.
Indeed, we definitely had those keys to the race play out for us. I believe we are going to go to a quick break. Salamander's going to put up a poll there for y'all to vote for your driver of that race, and we'll be back here shortly.
Down there somewhere, I hope.
Chester lead, let the chaos bleed. Cut across the edge where madness fades. Let Joker, let my break the map. Wild card racer in a technicolor trap. Spin that grin, let the rubber burn black. Who needs rules when the drinks bring back? Roll the die, shift the track. I'm back. Shortcut mind in a midnight mask. Flick up the wrist, twist of the cap. I win dirty, call it Joker lap. Chrome bells hang from the rear view mirror. Every move I make cuts close to fear. Nutrient code, chaotic in soul. I bend each checkpoint into a black hole. No good, no evil, just a thrill. Clown crown bound by my own free will. No script, no fate, no final map. Just
Joker lap. Green light, I saw him once on a midnight bend. A grin like fire, a curve with no end. Did he win? Did he fall? Did the race collapse? No one knows. Past the Joker lap. Fought back to bends, I beat the trap. Text my mind in a synapse snap. Loop my lane in a twisted map. Burn through time on the Joker lap. Face your all you play. Fools take the road. I carve my own way.
All right, everybody, we are back. That was an exciting first race. That ending was
Indeed.
crazy. We got 3 cars with 1 being lap traffic at the end. You know, Tuzum and TCase, you guys got to call this. What'd you think of what we just saw?
I enjoyed it quite a bit. It was different than I thought it was going to be, honestly. It was a little bit more spread out, but I do love. I think my favorite, aside from that ending, there was C-dubs in the mix. My favorite part was Ecstasy and Papa, even though they had 2 different pit strategies, still ended up nose to tail there at the end. So they were together the entire race minus 1 lap when each did a different pit. So I thought that was awesome. Really enjoyed it. This is, I would say, a bit of an outlier of the Joker series, it being such a big long lap with a small Joker. But I loved seeing it kick off and seeing people get interested in it and be here in the chat and participate in the race.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was really interesting. I mean, those 2 guys, Papa and Ecstasy, really nailed the strategy and the keys to the race that we all talked about. So, yeah, Tuzum, what do you got to say about that one?
Yeah, whenever it comes to an oval race at Daytona, we're always looking forward to that last second push to the finish, and we absolutely got that. P1 and P2, they were separated by just 33 thousandths of a second. Lap traffic coming into play. Like we got a little bit of everything as far as oval racing goes. So I was definitely excited to see that. Hopefully we can get one more split just like that. But yeah, absolutely incredible to watch.
Yeah, we've got four people readied up in the lobby right now. I think I want to hit at least 6 in order for us to run a second split. So I'm hoping if we got people out there watching, come on in. We need some more drivers. We have too few at Daytona. It just doesn't work really well. So we're going to hang out for a bit, give some people some time to come in. I'll say, let me see. Let's take a look at the poll here. It looks like we've had 13 people vote. Looks like Papa is ending up being kind of the runaway victor there. He ended up P2, but man, was he there pushing the whole race. I think we're going to end the poll. We're just going to declare Papa as the winner of or not the winner, but the driver of the race for the inaugural Joker Series event. How fitting is that?
Indeed.
Papa and PHE. I gotta definitely a thank you to Papa for letting me kind of do all this under the PHG umbrella. This has been a lot of fun. Um, I was going to talk a little bit about the strategy and how I came up with like these three cars. It seemed to be, and you guys noted it while we were watching, that the Corvette, even by itself, is definitely the fastest car. Um, but it definitely had more tire wear, more fuel burn, in such a way that, once you got Viper and the Ford GT to work together, I mean, they ran away with it. So
Yeah.
I'm glad it turned out that way. I was a little worried that maybe the Corvettes would just sort of run away with it. And honestly, if there's a lobby of more Corvettes, maybe that is what'll happen. Again, if we can get enough people in here, we'll run a second split and see if we can see if it'll turn out differently. I was anxious to see, when people would take their Joker lap, that being the new thing here. And sure enough, people tried to get it out of the way right away, which was kind of fun. Um, but yeah, I mean, I was really excited to see how the Ford and the Viper kind of came alive, as the race went on, with the Corvette still being able to stick in there, certainly.
Yeah, indeed. Metal did a great job to make it a one stop in that Corvette. Leo showed how it was not easy to do as he did a two stopper. Um, and when we were testing, yeah, I was thinking kind of like, well, why wouldn't everyone just use the Corvette? But I did find that I preferred driving the Ford around the Trioval over that Corvette. It just felt a little more comfortable to me. Um, so it was cool to see. And then we saw how quickly the Ford was off the line there at the rolling start and how much SSC was able to do. So that was cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in my testing, it seemed like the Viper was the easiest to drive. The Ford kind of had the same sort of tire wear and fuel burn, was a tad bit faster by itself, but not by much. Um, and then as Tuzum had mentioned, it has the extra gear, which helps out. Um, I mean, again, with the Corvette just being had the raw speed, but was much harder to drive. To send that thing through the corner without lifting at all, you had to get it right. If you messed up at all, you could risk hitting the wall or having to back out in order to not hit the wall. Then you end up slower than what the other cars were that were easier to drive. So definitely some strategy in play here, and I'm happy to see that it actually turned out that way. I was
Yeah.
hoping to see
I
more
was,
drafting, that maybe we could have gotten a pack, of 5, 6 drivers that stuck together for the whole race. We did get a couple sets of 2. They made it work. I mean, no surprise, Papa kind of being the uh, drafting specialist. No surprise he was up at the front there.
Yeah, I'll fully admit when I was wrong. I really thought this was going to turn into a Chevy one make race, but I was pleasantly surprised. It looks like all three cars were viable in their own ways. That first split, the Chevy came up a bit short. Maybe we'll see something a little bit different in this split. We got 6 drivers on track right now, so if you want to
really?
join, please feel free to do so. We're planning on going green in about 3 minutes, so if you want to hop in, we are still going. So don't feel like you missed the first race, but it's not over yet.
Yeah, I think
Not
we
over
got
yet.
full speed racing. Logan says he's heading on in. Fernando seems to be expressing some interest. So
Let's go, Nando.
come on in, guys. There is definitely room for more, and we will definitely run a second split, and then depending on what the interest is, that'll probably be it for the night. We'll run 2 splits for this one, but if we get, if you guys spread the word and a whole bunch of people suddenly show up, we'll keep going.
Indeed. And Sal, you were mentioning, so this is a once a month series, and you had shared with us beforehand that you are going to reveal the what's going to be next month's race. Is that correct?
That is correct. So after this split, if this ends up being the last one, we'll still do the poll for the drivers of the race, or for the driver of the race, and we'll come back, talk about what may have happened in the second split. And then yes, stick around to the end, because I'll
Yeah.
reveal what the track and cars combo is going to be for next month.
And I know what it is, y'all. It's good. So stick around. You're gonna wanna hear it, and hopefully after watching this first one, get a little more people even more excited about this Joker series, because we know all about it, us here in the booth, and we're super pumped. Y'all don't know so much about it, so I'm excited for y'all to slowly start to experience what this is, because I think it's really unique and really fun.
Yeah, we did. I will say we did start off with Daytona, solely for the fact that it's probably the easiest one to grasp the concept of the Joker lap. There's nothing in the way. There's some of these tracks where like the Joker lap it is, I don't want to say hidden, but it's like they have cones blocking it, so it's like it's not so obvious that it's what you can take. Here, there's no cones there. In fact, we take the bus stop chicane when doing other versions of the track. When we run the Daytona road course, which everybody here has done, they've gone through the bus stop chicane. So it's also familiar. It's just different having to do it when running at the tri-oval. So, as Tuzum had mentioned at the beginning, woeing these cars down, these road cars on sport tires from 200 plus miles an hour to go take that familiar chicane doesn't feel quite as familiar anymore. So it's different, but it's familiar. Each of the tracks that we're gonna do after this will be quite a bit different as far as what your strategy is going to be, and then also again, the rules are different per track. Like at this track, it's the Joker laps on the backstretch, so everybody's going full bore, which means that if you've got your signal on and you're going to take it, people need to avoid running into the back of you. The onus is on, or the responsibility is on the non-Joker lap driver to avoid hitting the person going on the Joker lap. There are other tracks that we will do in the future where the roles will be reversed, where the person taking the Joker lap will actually be driving deeper into the corner, and therefore they need to make sure they don't run into the back of the non-Joker lap driver. So it's important that people go check out the website, read through the rules. We've got a whole month between this race and the next one to go make sure you're familiar with what's going on. I was happy to see that we didn't have people taking each other out, coming out of the Joker lap and just flying up, up the high bank, or people not paying attention, just plowing into the back of the people taking the Joker lap. Everybody seemed to understand how that all worked, so that was great to see. I hope we keep that going, because I don't want this to turn into a wreck fest. And
Right.
again, that's why it's important to kind of understand what's going on. And there's just a lot more you need to be aware of with the people around you.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Well, let's see. We've got 9 people in here, and we are 6 minutes after. So I'm going to go talk to the drivers quick before we get qualifying going. I will leave it back to you two to commentate. Great job on the first one. We'll have you, we will check back in after this race is done.
Awesome.
I'll be back later.
Well, thank
I
you
just
very
want to say
much.
it should be 8 people. I'm on track right now. Just doing a little bit of recon right now. So it's currently 8 people. Actually, it might actually be 9 now. So
What car you reconning?
I just hopped into the Viper for a couple seconds.
Very nice, very nice. Well, this is a good opportunity to remind everyone about the keys to this race. We talked about it, and we saw it play out in the first race. That first key is find a buddy. The second key is be ready to adapt. And the third key is get the Joker right. We saw several drivers mess it up, but surprisingly, not very many drivers. I was expecting the majority of the field to really botch it, but they seem to do a good job overall. We did see a couple penalties as well from tapping the wall, so we know that is a factor, but I'm excited. What cars are you seeing on track there, Tuzum?
We have 5 Vipers, 3 Corvettes, and 1 Ford GT.
The Lone Ford. Very interesting.
We got Ecstasy joining the room now. So we currently, with Ecstasy, we'll have a grid of 10 drivers, which I believe is
go.
1 more than the last race. So
Indeed. And it looks like he's going to try the Corvette.
Yep, he is in the Corvette.
Awesome, awesome. I see Joe Collins, Tussenbox. Do you have your logo in the game to be put on as
Uh,
the decal?
which logo? 'Cause I have a couple.
Your avatar we have here in Discord.
Oh no, I don't have the Tesla box face, but I do have a cube that I put on each one of my cars. The
Okay.
cube I use as my sub icon on Twitch.
Oh, awesome, awesome. Yeah, Joe Collins was asking. He's the one who's put a lot of our logos in the game. So it looks like if you want to get any other logos put in the game, reach out to Joe Collins and he will help you out. And I hear from production that we are going to get qualifying started. Now, remember, qualifying does not require a Joker lap. So this is straight Daytona Trioval qualifying. And there's the key number 1. Find a buddy. Get yourself a buddy. Draft it out there and dominate. Now, we saw the Corvette with the higher top speed still not able to take pole position. So we'll see if that changes here as we look out on Daytona. We're on board with Geezer Gears, giving it another go, keeping it in the Viper. So he's keeping it up. Hopefully he can keep it clean this time. He did have a bit of a messy race there in the first one. Nasty going with the Viper. They were in the Ford last time. Is that correct, or am I? Do you
Nasty. I don't recall him being in the Viper. I can't remember. I do believe he was in the Ford.
The Ford.
I think it was Leo and Metal were the only 2 Corvette drivers in the last race, from what I can remember.
Metal stuck with the Corvette. Surprised here to see Fernando in the Ford. I would have thought he would have gone Viper. We have Mr. Racing and Better Dan in the Corvette. That makes more sense. You can see them getting kind of squirrely out there. SSE going with the Corvette this time. Gonna see if he can have a repeat. 2 wins in a row would be great. Racer X in the Viper. And VKG, welcome, Viking King Gaming in the Corvette. Y'all be sure to check out Viking King Gaming next week. He is going to be at the Sim Expo in Chicago as a journalist, reporter, content person. So I'm excited to see what he's able to see and do while he's there. Looks like we have Metal in the Corvette on pole position with a 42.627, going purple again. SSE also in the Corvette, just behind Mr. Racing. Looks like we got a nice train of cars there. But the Corvette going around the outside of Mr. Racing, but unfortunately it tags the wall, has to slow down. It gets loose so quickly there. Do you use any assist when doing the trioval, Tussum?
No, I'm a bit of an elitist, so I just keep it with ABS. I fully understand that using assist makes it a lot more difficult to spin out, and you know it's definitely a very high risk in these cars at these speeds. But yeah, I don't know. I just can't bring myself to turn on those assists.
Indeed, yeah. I do it only on this track and Route X. That's it. Otherwise, the assists are turned off. We see Papa currently in P5, goes ahead and goes into the pits. He started on pole last race, finished P2. Looks like he's going to see what he can do from further back on the grid. Happy with a P5. And SSE looks like he is doing the same. You know, they just did 40 laps in a circle. I think maybe they want to take a little bit of a breather. We got Racer X on the inside there. Fernando Button and Vetterdan working together. It looks like Vetterdan giving Fernando Button a little bit of a push. Vetterdan currently in P2. It's amazing how much that can work out for both drivers, having the faster car pushing the slightly slower car through the air. Fernando goes a little below.
One thing I wanted to
apron.
mention.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to mention that before Fernando B just said his time, we were talking about the Corvettes not doing so well in qualifying last session. This session, they were holding the top 3 spots in qualifying, but Fernando B put an end to that by currently setting a provisional P3.
And that is really because Vetterdan had been pushing him along the majority of that lap. Now he's going to try to tuck into Vetterdan's slipstream. So really interesting to see. We'll see if people adopt a different strategy. Last race we saw most people take, well actually everybody took the Joker before their pit stop. Maybe we'll see something different. A reminder to all the drivers, you cannot take your Joker on the first lap or your out lap. You can take it after a penalty, you can take it on your in lap, you just cannot take it on your first lap or out lap. So keep that
Or the
in
last
mind.
lap.
Or the last lap, correct. We did see a driver do that on lap 1, and that did not work. It is against the rules as across the line. We have Vetterdan, Fernando Button. Is anybody going to improve? Viking King Gaining stays in P10. Racer X in P5. So that pushes SSC, Geezer Gears, and Papa further down the ladder. They're going to have a lot more work to do here. Tussin, will you take us through our qualifying results, please?
Sure thing. So on pole position, we have Metal with a 42.463. And completing the all Chevy front row is Vetterdan with a 42.554. And P3, we have Fernando B in the Ford GT. And lining up beside him is Nasty in the Viper. On row 3, we have Racer X and Ecstasy in P5 and 6. P7 is Geezer Gears, followed by PHG Papa, both drivers in the Viper. And P9, we have Mr. Racing, aka Logan. And bringing up the rear, we have PHG VKG Racing, aka Viking King Gaming in the Corvette.
Awesome. I want to do a quick shout out to C-Dubs and the Water's Edge Country Club. They posted in our group chat here on Discord of them all in the pool with us up on the big screen on the patio. So big shout out to the Water's Edge Country Club and C-Dubs. Thanks y'all for watching. And oh, Tuzum, that is gorgeous, my friend. You're quite clever there with the old computers. Looking good, looking fresh. All right, so we got ourselves a race 2 here. What's gonna happen? Predictions. Are we gonna see a Corvette win?
Well, one thing to take note of, some of these drivers, they've learned from the previous race, so hopefully they're a bit cleaner with the Joker lap. The guys who racing this for the first time, I hope they got their practice in, because as we've mentioned many times in this broadcast, the Joker lap here is not easy to navigate. So I think we're going to see a mixture of, some really close racing with some really unfortunate incidents.
Really unfortunate incidents. You heard it from the man, the Joker. I also saw you had another Joker there a little earlier, trying to crawl up your back. Little kitten that made me smile. I enjoyed that little background action. What's your cat's name?
His name is Slick.
That's Slick.
When I first got him, I was trying to figure out what to call him, and I was actually at a go-kart track, and I was looking around because they got a bunch of used NASCAR tires as kind of like bumpers behind the guardrails, and I was like, they call those tires slick. You know, I'm gonna call them slick.
Yeah,
That's gonna be my cat's name.
that's a great name. I like it. And I believe the drivers are hitting the grid. We're going to have a rolling start, 10 drivers, 40 laps, 1 Joker lap. We'll see what this race has in store for us. I am excited to see this one get underway. And here we are on board with Metal. Metal finished P3 in the first race in the Corvette. And looks like he's keeping that going. Better Dan also in the Corvette in P2 just behind. Curious to see if those Fords jump ahead at the start like we saw in the first race. But here we are underway. Green flag, green, green, green. And we have, it looks like the Corvette does struggle a little bit out on the rolling start to get up to speed. You see Fernando there in the Ford able to catch pretty quickly. Fernando going on the inside, getting out of the slipstream, and they're too wide further back. A little bit of sparks flying here at the Daytona Tri-Oval. And Better Dan going to work with his work with his Chevrolet teammate and stay behind, but struggling to stay in the slipstream. But the Corvettes look like they're pulling away a little bit from Fernando, wouldn't you say, Tussum?
Yeah, to start the race, to see those two Corvettes pulling away like that, it's a scary sight because they do have a bit of an advantage in the top end compared to the other cars. However, we've seen that the fuel wear, and well, not fuel wear, fuel usage and the tire wear on these cars is a bit higher than the others. So, you know, 2 laps in, definitely going to see how everything goes. But so far,
sorry to cut you off there. Racer X goes high up into the wall, and I'm 720, 900, 1080. I don't know how many spins that was, but that was rough. Let's see this again. I saw Geezer Gears back there. They went 3 wide, and then he goes up high. Papa on the inside. Good job avoiding, and contact there with Mr. Racing. I imagine that is damage from Mr. Racing, and wow, Racer X, if you're in VR, you must be nauseous. Does that count as a Joker attempt? Or is he going to have to attempt it again? That does not count. That unfortunate spin in the right place does not count as a Joker lap. He did not indicate he was going to use do the Joker lap by turning on his turn signal. Therefore, it does not count. He's going to have to run as Ecstasy gets reset. So this is not looking good for Racer X or Ecstasy. I believe Ecstasy just attempted to take the Joker. His turn signal is on, and what happened? Oh, he goes under the apron. Oh my goodness. So that was, according to the game, that was too long for him to be off the circuit, and resets him. So he did get the Joker lap completed. However, he did not get back above the yellow line in time, causing a reset. That's a big ouchie there to Ecstasy as we look back on board with the leaders. And then further back, we have a Viper and a Ford. Papa finding another Ford to stare at. Papa's been staring at Ford GT taillights for an hour and 20 minutes.
we got the 2 leaders, Metal and Better Dan. They both have their left turn signal on, so they look like they might be going for their Joker lap together. Let's see, both of them, yep, hard on the brakes. Better Dan's going to try to make a move down the inside, going into the Joker. Does get a small bump from Better Dan, but it looks like that was pretty much a clean execution. Metal will stay in front, but that is both of their Jokers done.
Wow, way to work together. That was incredible as we see a new leader. Fernando B has Papa and Geezer Gears right there. So we got a 3-way battle for the lead. The previous P1 and P2 took their Joker lap. It looked like Vetterdan was just a little late on the brakes, went deep, and then allowed Metal to get back ahead as he regained control of his car. But that looked very clean to me. So keeping up with those keys to the race, they are doing a great job. As we see Fernando getting pushed along by Papa and Geezer Gears in tow. Not too far back is VKG. VKG was in 10th. He is now up into P4 and has Mr. Racing, who did make contact when Racer X spun out, and Nasty not too far behind. So we're on lap 7. Only 2 drivers have taken the Joker. What are you expecting in this first stint, Tuzin?
Yeah, so while you mentioned that, I'm looking at the fuel gauges for some of the Corvettes. Vetterdan and Ecstasy, they're below 1/3 of a fuel tank used, whereas others are hovering just a bit below 75%. So Vetterdan, he's hanging on to the close of Metal, which, you know, they could still be the potential leaders of this race, but that fuel usage, that's going to come into play in a little bit. He's going to have to make adjustments if he's going to hold on to that slip from Metal.
Indeed. And VKG, as we just saw there, in the Corvette, but he does not have a buddy. That is not going to play out well. His fuel was getting close to that halfway mark, and we are only on lap 8. We know they need to make it to they would like to make it to at least lap 20 on a tank of fuel. We saw what happened to Leo, having to make a 2-stop as VKG gives us a couple toots of the horn, if you will. And Nasty with a 1.5 second penalty. That is going to hurt. He's currently in P6 and in the tow of Mr. Racing, but as soon as he serves his penalty, he's going to fall back, and that's going to allow Metal and Vetterdan to work their way up closer to him.
Now, I'll be curious to see if he decides to take his Joker lap or if he'll just accept the penalty and maybe try to get behind. I guess Metal would be the next person behind. I don't know if he's going to be able to catch up after that penalty, but yeah, we'll see what he does. He does have the left turn signal on, so it looks like he is going to take the Joker. Let's see if he can keep it clean. A little late on the brakes, does cut. I think for the first iteration of this, we might let that slide.
Right.
But yeah, Nasty does have his Joker lap complete after serving that penalty.
Awesome. And yeah, I mean, he cut that first little bit, but he kept it on most of that track and gets back on. So very smart for Nasty to serve his penalty and Joker lap in the same time, as it looks like we have a new leader. PHG, Papa's House of Games, back up in front, but no. Fernando wants it. He wants to lead this whole race for the remainder, but oh, and Papa almost gets pushed down below the apron. Fernando Button back up in the lead. I've raced with Fernando quite a bit, and he doesn't give an inch. He gives you the bare minimum and makes you work for it. We see Fernando back in the lead, Papa having to settle back into P2. And Geezer Gears has lost touch to both of them. He was right there on the back, so he must have had a bit of a wiggle. And falling back almost a second and a half in that Viper. And we look at VKG under half a tank, still over a third of a tank, but he's going to have to start thinking, and you can see they're just cruising at 200. That makes me think he's running a fuel map, because that Corvette should be going a bit faster, wouldn't you say, Tuzin?
Oh yeah, for sure. Anything over 210, they're most likely running either fuel map 1 or fuel map 2. Metal in 6th place, he's topping out at about 208, 209. So yeah, he's definitely running that at a lower fuel map.
So this is good. These drivers using that first race. This is the inaugural race of the Joker series. So kind of using that first one as a testing ground. I have a feeling when we reveal race 2 for September, we're going to see these drivers putting some real practice in, getting ready for that, and we'll have a good strategy in play, because it is going to be a great one. I'm very excited for it. This is also a good opportunity as we have a new race leader of Geezer Gears. So that would be Papa and Fernando going into the pits or taking their Joker lap.
Joker lap,
Took
yeah.
their Joker. Okay, my bad. Geezer Gears. Oh, getting it wrong. Don't get reset, Geezer Gears. Okay, he's back on track, but watch out for Papa. Papa on the upside. Geezer Gears staying down low. VKG also taking his Joker lap. Metal moving up into P3. VKG in P7. Fernando B in P5. Holy cow, we got a all bit of a shakeup as Mr. Racing is now the new leader of this race. Okay, people are getting it now, wouldn't you say, Tussum?
Yeah, they saw the last race or participated in the last race, so this is a bit more strategy coming in. As I see Logan, it was really, really late on the turn signal, and he also wasn't in the appropriate start zone for that. Not sure how the stewards would see that. I mean, he did take the Joker lap, but I don't think he gave enough notice to state that he was doing so.
Was there another car close behind him? There was.
No, he had
wasn't there?
about when he first hit the brakes, he was about 3 seconds ahead. So I don't think there would have been any interference.
Yeah, if the drivers are on their own like that, they can take a more optimal line. It's just when they are in traffic with other cars around, they have to indicate and be in their proper zone to avoid any contact penalties. Because if they're out of their proper zone and there's contact, it's their fault. But if they're in the zone with the signal on and somebody hits them, it's that other driver's fault. So as long as he was on his own like that, he is safe. Playing it smart. It looks like he was paying attention to what he needed to do because he took that Joker lap pretty well. Metal now applying pressure to Fernando. Metal working his way back up into P3 and Vetterdan right behind him as SSC takes a very early pit stop. SSC did get reset, so they're having to be, their adaptability is at an all-time high, changing up the strategy of their race. Fernando B trying to hold on to P2, but it seems like Metal has the power, gives Fernando a little bump, then goes out wide. It's going to cut back in, take a slightly different line through the turn, but Vetterdan loses it. Look at his front right tire. That understeer is becoming prominent, specifically in the Corvettes. What do you think about the Corvettes' fuel right now and how long they're going to be able to make it last, Tussum?
Looking at the Corvettes, the ones that haven't pit yet, it's going to be really close. VKG, I think he's going to either have to pit this lap or next lap. But where are the other ones? So we've got Metal. He has enough to make it to at least lap 20, it looks like. Vetterdan, he's going to have to probably save a little bit more, which I believe he's already doing to make it to that lap 20 goal.
Indeed, VKG low on fuel, still has his turn signal on. That's going to be an adjustment for everyone, making sure they are doing what they're supposed to be doing with the turn signal. As we see, Mr. Racing also has his turn signal still on. So it's going to be a common thing to happen, but if you know that person has taken their Joker lap, you know the turn signal is just getting left on. But early on in the race, it could be cause for concern. Has everyone taken the Joker? I think so, right?
So if my records are correct, and unless I missed it, I believe the only driver left to do the Joker is Fernando B. I didn't see him on my end, but it's possible that I missed it. But I think he might be the only driver, but every other driver has done their Joker.
According to Joe Collins, there was contact with Papa and Fernando when Papa went to take his Joker. So not sure what happened there. That's going to be a post-race look at the replay to see how that played out as VKG comes in a lap early for fuel. And we know how long fuel takes to fill, and that's about a lap. And that's going to put VKG pretty far behind.
Oh, Fernando. Sorry to cut you off, but Fernando, he was taking his Joker lap and he got it wrong coming out of the bus stop. He also got a little bit of a bump from, I believe it was Nasty chasing him. You know, he turned on the turn signal, went to hit the brakes, and there was a bit of contact before he got into the braking zone. Hopefully he can get away without... Oh, no, he did get reset. Spent just a bit too much time off track, and... Yeah, he got reset, so that hurts him even more.
Well, I do want to shout out Fernando because it looks like, according to Joe Collins, Fernando waited up for Papa with that first incident and then knew he still needed to take the Joker lap and did it then. So big shout out to Fernando for understanding the rules and being a good sportsman. Thank you, Fernando. You get a prop just for that. As we see more drivers in the pits, that's very smart. Papa on his end lap, taking the Joker properly and getting into the pit. So this is going to be one of those ones where it's definitely going to need to be, we're going to have to watch the replay and see who did what, when, and where, because this is where it gets complicated. This is where we need Gran Turismo 8 to allow as many people in the lobbies as possible so we can have eyes everywhere, even if you're not racing. So Vetterdan looking like he will gain a couple positions because he's got a lot more speed as Papa and Mr. Racing come out of the pits. That puts Vetterdan back up into P3. Geezer Gears in P2. Does Geezer Gears still need to pit? No, right?
No, he's completed his pit.
Right, and so Vetterdan with the overspeed back up into P2. Oh my goodness, we have a new race leader. What's going on with Metal?
I don't know.
So
he
slow?
was he was really slow on the main straight. I'm wondering what happened. He didn't need to take a joke or anything. I wonder if there was an incident and maybe he was letting someone by. But yeah, Vetterdan up in the lead now.
Can't find a Vetterdan in P1. Geezer Gears in P2. What a big difference one race makes for Geezer Gears. Not having the best first race, but now has Ecstasy applying pressure, trying to go the long way around the outside. Looks like he's going to get it done. That is Ecstasy up into P2 using the overspeed of the Corvette. He's going to have to think about fuel, though. Actually, you know what? It looks like he did his fuel. Well, no. He's almost at half a tank of fuel. We're only on lap 22.
Yeah, that's definitely not going to make it. I think even if you put it on fuel map 6, I think at this point that's not going to be enough to finish the race.
Yeah, so Ecstasy going to have to pit again and pull a classic Leo and make it a two-stopper. Metal in P4. We are on lap 23 of 40. Pit stops have been served. Joker laps have been served. And this race a lot closer than the first race. Loving what I'm seeing. Papa currently in P5. Had been a race leader at one point with Fernando Button. But Fernando Button has fallen way, way back. BKG, I'm curious if he's going to be able to make his fuel last to the end, because he did pit a couple laps earlier than everybody else, and he is in the Corvette, but his fuel isn't looking bad.
Yeah, he's definitely using less than what he did on his first stint. I think he's still going to have to be really careful because he's almost used up a quarter of a tank after, it looks like he pit on lap 19. So, yeah, the fuel consumption is looking better, but he still needs to be really careful. But he's all alone in P8, so no threat from behind and no slip from ahead. So, just going to be a race of survival for him.
Indeed, it's going to be a long and lonely road as we look on board P7, Mr. Racing, and he's within the slip of Nasty. There's a battle for P5 to be had. If he and Nasty can work together, they can get their way back up to Papa. Nasty currently out of the slipstream of Papa, but now Mr. Racing has fallen back a bit. They were a second apart, now 1.5. We're seeing fuel map adjustments, that is for sure. I wish we could visually see them in this game as a spectator. Unfortunately, we can't, but clearly these drivers are doing some fuel and tire management as we saw it play out in the first race. But now Ecstasy has caught to Vetterdan, 217 miles an hour. Corvette versus Corvette, going too wide into turn 1 and 2, and Ecstasy having to fall back in, but carrying the overspeed. Are they going to work together? No, Ecstasy opting not to bump draft Vetterdan. That is surprising to me, but we do know that Ecstasy is on a very different strategy based on his fuel consumption. So he wants to get as far ahead as possible because he knows he's going to have to pit again as they're catching lap traffic. Fernando B not far ahead. This is going to help out Vetterdan. Vetterdan going to get that slipstream. They may go 3 wide here as everybody tries to hug the yellow line. No, Ecstasy has to push himself up high as to not make contact with Vetterdan. If you're Ecstasy, what are you thinking here, Tussim?
I mean, if I'm in this situation, I don't know. I don't think you can fuel save enough to make it to the end. He definitely put himself in a tricky position. Yeah, all he can really do is, I guess, I would try to work together with Vetterdan just to build as much of a gap to the drivers behind and hope that I have enough when I come into the pits.
Now, if you were Vetterdan, would you be trying to get ahead of Fernando there, or would you just try to bump draft him and keep moving along with SSC right behind you?
Well, at this point, I wouldn't know that Estony needs to pit. So I would think I would want to keep Fernando B in front of me for company, just, you know, for the bump draft to save some fuel. Once I realize that STC, you know, eventually has to pit, and I'll see the gap to the new P2 behind me, I'll start to, you know, kind of relax and control the pace from there.
Indeed. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense as we see Geezer Gears and Metal battling it out. Further back, we have Papa and Nasty as well. So a lot of 2-car, 3-car battles. Papa finishing P2 in the first race, opting not to set an optimal qualifying this race, has moved up a few positions into P5, but it looks like Nasty might be making a move. No, he tucks back in on the straight. It seems like a lot of these drivers are struggling to stay close behind in the turns, and I think that's where the sport tires over racing tires and road cars over group cars is really coming into play. A lot of us are used to driving with high downforce and racing tires where you just keep it pinned, turn the wheel, and you're good. And as we see there, looking up the inside, but then having to adjust their angle as Papa comes back down. Nasty still maintaining P6, and I absolutely love this. And I know you do too, Tussim, because you come into my lobbies on Tuesday night and you just come tear it up. So I know you appreciate this type of racing.
Yeah, road cars, they always make for really good racing. Without having the sticky tires and the high downforce to rely on, it really turns into, you know, really battling control of the car, especially if you're on, you know, sports tires or, you know, even for some cars going as low as comfort tires. Becomes really challenging without all that grip.
Yeah, comfort tires are a treat, in my opinion. SSC is our new race leader as he's trying to get by Fernando Button, and he is running low on fuel. He's going to have to come into the pits pretty quickly, and he is being forced up the outside as his tires are, oh my goodness, it's lap 31, almost lap 32, and it is not looking good for SSC. At least he's getting some laps up front, getting some show time, getting his face in the camera and making it look good, but he is going to have to pit. And I don't know how far back it'll be interesting. Do you think so? Here we go. This is a perfect example. He's going to pit. Will he come out ahead of Fernando? Fernando being right behind him. What do you think?
I think it'll depend on how long he'll have to refuel, but I think he will be demoted to last after his pit stop.
Well, at least he had some time to shine in the spotlight. Coming into the pits, P1, new race leader, Better Dan. Then we have Geezer Gears and Metal to round out the podium. Very, very, very nice.
So here's one thing to keep an eye on with 8 laps left. With Better Dan with no slip, he's down to just over a quarter of a tank of gas, although he is coming up, or he might be coming up on Fernando B. Geezer and Metal, they've got quite a bit more fuel on board, so if Metal can get to the back of Geezer, they might be able to work together and catch up with Better Dan and maybe have a shot at taking P1 and possibly P2 from him.
Oh, that I hope so. No offense, Better Dan. You know I love you, but I'm thinking of a visual, the visuals of this, and it'll be good because Better Dan in P1, he is not far behind Fernando at all. With that quarter tank, but yeah, you're right. Look at that fuel difference there on Geezer Gears. Way different. You can be a lot more liberal with your throttle. But Papa moving up and into P4 and now has caught Metal. Papa's looking for a double podium and Metal just lets him on through. Maybe Metal knows he needs that slipstream if he wants to make his car last to the end.
Yeah, I saw the hazards on, so I don't know if he went into pause mode, but yeah, Nasty, it seems to have dropped back a little bit, so yeah, Papa flying through the field, just about 2.5 seconds behind Geezer. Metal's going to be closing up shortly, hopefully, so might still have a last-ditch effort for that win.
It's going to be good. I'm a big fan of turning off ghosting and everything in the lobby so that when you come upon lap traffic, they are in the way. Like they have to make the choice to get out of the way. And when you're at a tri-oval, honestly, like NASCAR rules is you don't have to get out of the way. You don't want to impede the other drivers, but you can keep driving your line. And that's what we've been seeing. We saw C-Dubs, disrupt that battle for the end, which made it that much more exciting. I love to see it. Better Dan still in P1. He can see Fernando. He would love that slip. But look at his fuel. With 4 laps left and Geezer Gears applying the pressure, look at that. 1.5 seconds between Geezer Gears and Better Dan. Geezer Gears able to pull away a bit from Papa. Papa's still in P3, but Geezer Gears, is he close enough for the win?
I think so. I think Better Dan might be on a really low fuel map. I'm thinking like 4 or maybe even 5. It's like the rate that Geezer's catching. Like Geezer's now in the slip. So this should be a pretty easy overtake, but we'll see. Yeah, Better Dan, I think he's just really struggling with that fuel consumption in that Corvette.
Wow, amazing. Again, when we've been testing this for a while, y'all. And I thought, along with Tussenbox, that it would just be a one-make Corvette show. And I love being proved wrong. As we see Geezer Gears up into P1. Let's go, Turtle Shell. I've met this guy in person. I've hung out with him, and I am not biased at all. Let's go.
Getting a little bit of redemption after the little mishap with the countdown timer in the last race.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah, 3 laps to go. Better Dan. It looks like, that's really low. Let's see if he can make it or if he has to pull it for a little splash and dash.
Yep. Papa get back-to-back P2s, but his fuel doesn't look great. We are on the penultimate lap. I mean, they don't have to make it last long, but it's amazing how quick a lap is around here until you're running out of fuel. And then a lap around here is an eternity. You know what I mean?
Better Dan's Corvette just barely capping out at 200. I'm willing to bet he's on fuel map 6 right now. He might even have to consider like half throttle for the rest of this next lap. Papa overtakes around the outside to take P2. He's got 2 seconds to Geezer, slightly catching up, but I think this might be a comfortable win with Geezer. He's got a little more fuel on board. Vetter Dan, it looks like this is just waiting for it any second now. He's going half throttle now. There it is. That's the end of his fuel tank.
Oh, there goes Metal. Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, I don't even need to, you know, driver of the race, Geezer Gears. Like, what a race for him. He didn't really lead all that much. He was just always in the mix. And look at him as he's about to come across the line. Victory. Papa P2
runs out of fuel
back.
as he crosses the line too.
Metal back-to-back P3s. Papa back-to-back P2s. Mr. Racing P4. VKG, you know what? Shout out to VKG as well. He moved up the field there, and he even pitted early, not thinking he was going to. Oh, better. I don't mean to laugh at you, but I'm laughing. I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't mean to be mean. Fernando B, go, go, go. Oh, no, better Dan across the line. Fernando B finishing the race.
Oh, Fernando even ran out of fuel at the end there.
Well, that
just
was
before the finish line.
That was a treat. That was great. Good job, everybody. With the victory, Geezer Gears up 6 positions. So we have Geezer Gears P1, Papa P2, Metal P3. That's a Viper 1-2. Then a Corvette. Mr. Racing in the Viper P4. 3 Corvettes in a row. BKG P5. SC P6. Vetterdan P7. Then Fernando B in the 4 GT and P8. And then we had 2 DNFs because of unfortunate racing there. Mistakes were made. Things happen. Nasty and Racer X. But that was awesome. That was awesome. So I'm already saying it. Driver of the race for me, Geezer Gears. Tussin, what do you think?
Well, we were doubting him in the first stint, but he stretched out that fuel tank to last, I think it was 22 laps. I'm going to give it to Viking King Gaming in that Corvette. You know, it was a big stretch to do, and he still managed a top 5 finish, so I'm giving mine to VKG.
Indeed. Yeah. No argument there. I agree. An honorable mention to Mr. Racing. He did a great job moving up the field. But that was good. That was good. Y'all figured it out, and you gave us a very entertaining race, and I absolutely loved it. We're gonna go to a quick break. Poll is already in the chat. Go ahead and vote, and when we come back, Sal's gonna join us, and he's gonna give us a showing of what next race will be. It's very exciting. Don't go nowhere. Hit the like button, subscribe, vote. We'll be back.
suggest or lead. Let the chaos bleed. Cut across the edge where madness fades. That Joker, let me break the map. Wild card racer in a technicolor trap. Spin that grin, let the rubber burn black. Who needs rules when the tricks bring back? Roll the die, shift the track. I'm back. Shortcut mind in a midnight mask. Flick up the wrist, twist up the cap. I win dirty, call the Joker lap. Chrome bells hang from the rear view mirror. Every move I make cuts close to fear. Nutrient code, chaotic in soul. I bend each checkpoint into a black hole. No good, no evil, just a thrill. Clown crown bound by my own free will. No script, no fate, no final map. Just smoke and mirrors in the Joker lab.
Green light, I saw him once on a midnight bend. A grin like fire, a curve with no end. Did he win? Did he fall? Did the race collapse? No one knows.
Past the Joker lab. Front back to bend, I beat the trap. Text my mind in a synapse snap. Loop my lane in a twisted map. Burn through time, I'm the Joker lab. Face your role you play. Fools take the role. I carve my own way.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. We got reports in chat that they can't hear you.
Oh, unmute.
I forgot to unmute. All right, now we're back.
I meant to remind you.
Oh, one of
The
these
joys.
days. See now, like hosting and talking and running lobbies. I'm getting used to this, guys. So, thanks for sticking with us. But yeah, that was a banger of a race. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was really awesome.
That was fun. That was fun. All right, so we've got what we'll do. We'll close down the poll here. Well, actually, there's only 7 votes. I'm going to give people just another minute if they want to throw some votes in there for who the driver of Split 2 is going to be. We said if we can get at least 6 drivers, we'll run a third split. It looks like we have 6 drivers in the lobby. If we could get, more. You guys listening, you want to come in, run some races? Looks like we're going to be running a third split here. So definitely, anybody who's running the first 2, you're welcome to come on back. There's somebody that's watched the first 2 and thinks they've nailed down the perfect strategy. Come on in and show us what's up.
Do it.
Just
Do it.
do it. All right, votes wise, we're going to end this poll. Looks like Geezer Gears kind of ran away with it. No surprise there. Geezer Gears had one heck of a race there
Yeah, he did.
in Split 2. All right, so TCase did mention that we are going to reveal next month's race. And true to promise, we're going to do that. I'm going to reveal what next month's track and car combo is going to be. And then we're going to run Split 3. So give you guys a couple more minutes if anybody wants to get back in or to come on in, enter in the lobby. We'd love to have another good set of drivers in there. But what we've got for next month is Tsukuba. Let's see. Oh, geez, I don't have the Discord audio on this one. Let me add it quick so that they can hear you guys. There. Now they should be able to hear you. Well, no, that's not the right one. Ah! So many problems. Instead, I added Discord a second time to the other one. There. Now it's in. All right. Sorry about that. All right. So now they can hear you guys. All right. So, yes, we've got Tsukuba. We've got 4 different car options for this one. We've got the Audi TT Coupe from 2014. That is a 4-wheel drive. We have the Alpine A110 from 2017. That is a mid-engine car. We have the RX-7 Spirit R Type A from 02. That is a front-engine rear-drive car. And then we've got the Alfa Romeo 4C from 2014, which is another mid-engine car. And hot tip, the RX-7 has a tunable rear wing, which I am going to leave enabled for this race. It's not much. You can either go from, I think it's 20. It starts off at 40. You can tune it down to 20 or up to 60. So it's not a lot. It does seem to make a difference. So, but that is our next combo.
Well, these cars around Tsukuba are all fun. I've driven all of those cars around Tsukuba at some point in time, and they're good. And it's going to be it's a lot different than what we just saw as a high-speed track. We've got Tsukuba being a very low-speed technical track, and then where that Joker is really will slow you down on such a small track because you're going outside, taking a much wider and slower line than everybody else. So that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, the Joker lap at that track, it's right after that big Dunlop tire, which I believe is turn 6. Whatever the turn number is. There's a little chicane after that, and that's where the Joker lap is. So should be fun. It looks like we had a couple of other guys join the lobby. So again, I'm going to leave you guys to chit-chat a little bit while I go make sure everybody's set up in the lobby. We had somebody try to join with a C8, which is not right. So we got to make sure everybody's on the same page, and then we'll get qualifying going. So, again, I'll be back a little bit later. Take it easy, guys.
All right. We'll catch you after this next race. I'm glad we're getting 3 races in. You know, we were talking beforehand, and this is a new thing. We weren't even sure if we were going to get one race in, but now we're on race number 3. I hope to see people using different cars than they've used. What do you think, Tussum? Or do you think anybody's going to stick with what they've done? We've seen Metal do 2. You're in the lobby. What are you seeing?
Oh, I did see that Ecstasy wanted to do the 3rd race in a 3rd car, so he's
right.
switching it up and running the Viper. There's 5 Vipers on track right now. No, 6 Vipers. 1, 2, 3, 4. There, I can count. 5 Vipers on track. We've got 2 Corvettes and 1 Ford. So, yeah, it looks like the meta is shifting just a little bit towards Dodge.
Yeah.
But we know that's not the end all be all. You still got to manage the fuel, still got to manage the tires, still got to nail that Joker. So,
Yeah.
we'll see.
Absolutely. Definitely, they need to find a buddy. We know that much. Fernando saying he's sticking with Ford, so some people sticking with it, other people changing it up. I'm always a fan when I do my lobbies and we have 3 car options. I just rotate, and it's fun to adapt to the new challenge on the fly. This is 40 laps. It's a lot to it to commit to. And we saw so many drivers run out of fuel or have to make 2 stops. We definitely saw in that last race more strategy in terms of when to take the Joker lap and how you take it. We also saw a lot more contact and issues there when trying to take that Joker lap. So we'll see if third time's the charm and everybody gets through cleanly, but I think that's highly unlikely.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it was a little bit less chaotic as far as taking the Joker lap, but it was more chaotic in other aspects. But yeah, this is the third attempt. We'll see how it goes. I mean, these guys are learning. You know, some people in chat, they've seen the first 2 races, so they're hopping in now, and they've got a pretty good idea of what to do. So we'll see if that all pays off in the end. For those just joining, you know, it's different actually executing it. You know, you always say, "Oh, that looks easy. I could do that easily." You can't. Okay, it takes a lot of practice. It's definitely not easy. So again, we'll see. We'll see how it turns out.
Yeah, we saw several drivers, hit the brakes and then realize there's no way I'm going to make this and just go flying through the grass. I know I did that plenty of times in practice, thinking I had it. Um, and then looking at whether or not drivers take advantage of the protected zone when they're in traffic. We did see one driver in the last race not having to take the protected zone because there was really nobody around them. So, should be good. We'll have qualifying getting going here shortly. Qualifying does not require a Joker lap, so it's just your standard try to bump draft, go flat out, and get the fastest time possible.
You know, I'll
But
be interested to see as this series, you know, continues forward if the Joker lap will be required at some point during quali just to sort of mix things up a little bit. Here, it would be incredibly difficult to police, but I think on a track
yeah,
like Tsukuba, yeah, it might be a consideration to force the drivers to do the Joker. It'll also be good practice for them during the race, but I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, I guess you can still kind of cheese it in a way, so I don't know.
yeah, it's a hard thing to regulate. It would be going back and reviewing everything. But I see what you're saying. It would be cool if the game is limited and what we're doing is not in the rules of the game, but Salamander has done a great job of figuring out which optional track layouts you can use without getting reset, without getting a huge penalty. We did see some drivers get reset, but that was not on the Joker lap. That was past the Joker lap as they continued to stay below the yellow line. So that's a big one for y'all who are about to do this race. Be sure to get back above the yellow line after you do the chicane. Otherwise, you will get reset. And I do believe qualifying is about to get underway. We've got some new drivers. And wait, you haven't heard me say meow? Well, I just said it meow. What do you think about that, C-dubs? Right? Meow. Touche.
You even had a cat on screen
I
at one
did.
point.
So many opportunities. So many. I apologize, y'all. I'm being professional. All right, qualifying underway. Fernando B back in his Ford, his Goodyear green Ford. Doesn't have anybody around him to help him out. Metal still sticking with the Corvette. Also all alone. Papa and the Viper. He will race Daytona for 24 hours if it's an option. That man loves this track. Better than back in P4. Also in the Corvette. Ecstasy in the Viper, getting his taste of everything. BKG trying the Viper out this time. We have, I believe that is left 36 in the Viper, going to be giving BKG a little bump. And then Josh Moment, good to see you, Josh, in the Air Jordan Viper Mobile, cruising down the street. So left 36 just joining us, and Josh also is new to the lobby, but he may be knowing what's going on. Just so you know, you have to take a joker lap. The joker lap is the bus stop chicane. However, you cannot take that lap on your out lap or on the first lap or the last lap. So just be aware that drivers will be turning their turn signal on and going low. If the driver ahead of you has their turn signal on, be expecting them to hit the brakes hard as they try to go for the chicane, and you need to avoid them at all costs. But you just need to do one joker lap per race. No joker lap in qualifying, as Metal is P1 and goes purple in the Corvette. Not surprising there.
Yeah, he just decided to take off. No slip needed. Goes purple by another 0.2. 42.461 is the current benchmark. And Corvette's got really great one lap pace even without the slip, as left in the Viper actually takes away that pole position. But yeah, outside of the slip, the Corvette definitely has the advantage. So through our qualifying, it's going to be the quicker car. But you know, as the race unfolds, they got to take some extra steps to survive the race.
Indeed. You know, with all that traffic ahead, you would think it would slow them down, but taking full advantage of all the slipstream. Left P1, Metal P2. VKG now up to P3, with SSC at P6 just behind him, taking advantage of that slipstream. No changes in position as they cross the line, starting lap 5 of qualifying. We are now 3.5 minutes in. So Vetterdan all over the wall there, sparks flying, able to keep it pointed in the right direction. We did see in the race, Racer X lose control of his car and spin a multitude of times. SSC all over the back of BKG, taking full advantage of that. I imagine we see SSC move up from P6 when he crosses the line, because he's had that Corvette towing him along the whole time. Or no, BKG's in the Viper, so same car, but that does move SSC up into P4. Papa in P5, happy with that. He goes into the pits. We see Vetterdan in P6. VKG goes purple. So he's getting a little bump there from SSC, which makes me think SSC might take pole at the end of this lap. What do you think, Tussum?
Yeah, it's very possible. He's got good slip from VKG up ahead. Let's see, across the line, and just misses it by about a tenth. But VKG takes pole with a 42.1.
Wow. VKG on a mission. He moved up from P10 to P5 last race. Now he's looking to start on pole, as SSC now still all over the back of him. This is the final lap of qualifying. SSC would like to take that pole position away from VKG, but he is down 0.3, so it seems unlikely. Metal in the pits, Papa in the pits, Josh Moment in the pits, Fernando B in the pits. So Vetterdan's still out there. SSC left and VKG across the line. No change in position. That seems to be our qualifying order.
This time it's dominated by Vipers, with the top three all in Dodge machinery.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how that played out there. Will you take us through these qualifying results, Tussum?
So in pole position with, I believe, our fastest pole time of the night, VKG, aka Viper Knight, or excuse me, Viper King Gaming, with a 42.165. P2, one of our newcomers, left 36 with a 42.302. And rounding out the top three is Ecstasy in the Viper in a 42.345. Then we have Metal in the Corvette, P5 PHG Papa in the Viper, P6 PHG Vetter Dan still rocking with the Corvette, and P7 and P8 we have in all BHR row, Josh Moment in the Viper, and Fernando B in the Solitary Ford GT.
Well, there you have it. Those are our qualifying results. For those who don't know, BHR stands for Beehive Racing. Shout out to Brigsby and the Beehive community. Y'all are awesome. Thank you for joining us. It's great to have you. So there's our qualifying. We got more Vipers than we've ever had before. Are we going to see a dominant Viper performance, or can Fernando work his way up the field, or one of these Corvettes come out on top? What do you think, Tussum?
Well, I'm not trying to show any bias. Let me see if I can get that on screen. Yeah, I'm not trying to show any bias, but I think Viper is going to take home gold, silver, and bronze. No favoritism whatsoever.
None whatsoever. Well, yeah, it does kind of look that way. I do want to see one of these drivers wait till the end, towards the end, to take their Joker lap, but it seems like everybody. I think what happens, and much like in real racing with the pit stops, somebody triggers it, and then everyone has to react, right? So somebody's going to blink first and take the Joker, and then we'll see more and more relaxed. But it'd be interesting to see this go a little bit longer before anyone takes the Joker lap, but we shall see. We know these Corvettes are going to have to worry about fuel, but the Vipers and the Fords also, it's something to consider, especially when you're left all alone. But we shall see. Fernando starting there in the back. I wonder how many places he can gain, because we do know that Ford is quick off the rolling start. Do you think he makes up any positions, or is he too far back there to really do anything?
Now, I think he'll definitely be able to attack P7. It'll be a question of whether he decides to overtake, or if he decides to bump draft Josh to, make sure neither one of them drop behind the leader. So he'll definitely be at the back of his car at the start of this race.
All right, and I believe the drivers are getting on to the racetrack, setting up for that rolling start. We'll go over to them, see what happens here as we are on board with VKG. Pole position in the Viper. We got left just behind him, then Ecstasy, Metal, Papa, Vetterdan, Josh, then Fernando in the Ford. Here we go across the start-finish line. Green flag, we are underway, and I'm guessing we got a bit of a fuel saving from VKG as he loses out to Ecstasy, and to left we have a new leader left in the lead. VKG having a little PTSD from driving that Corvette around here and running out of fuel. We are on board with left, and now, no, Ecstasy, he's led a good bit of this race, and now he's back up in the lead. Metal pushing him ahead. That is a new race leader. Before the lap has even finished, we have two race leaders here. Metal now looking at potentially taking that Corvette, but he knows he needs to make the fuel last. That has been the... Oh, no! Metal washes out into the wall. That's a 1.5 second penalty. Oh my goodness, I don't know what happened there. Tussum, what are you seeing?
All right, so Ecstasy giving the slip to Vetter Dan. Oh, sorry, no, Metal Looks like he just washed out. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think he was necessarily going for a move, but yeah, that was a bit of a weird incident. Metal does elect to keep going, does not quite keep up with the pack ahead. So we'll see if he can try to get that Corvette back up to the pack. He's about 3 seconds behind after serving that penalty.
Indeed. Now Papa up into P2 looking at taking the lead. I think they just want Salamander to use his new graphic because it's so cool, because now Papa is our new race leader up there in P1. I'm surprised Metal didn't go ahead and take the Joker lap. He lost so much time with the penalty. He might as well take the Joker, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he thought he could stay towards the back of that pack after serving the penalty, but didn't just quite work out that way. We'll see what his game plan is from here on out. Still really, really early on in the race, so we'll keep an eye on him, see if he can somehow claw that gap back.
Yeah, and I wonder if he had a disconnect. I'm not sure what his setup is exactly, but it did look like he just kind of went straight on for a second and had a little bit of issue there. So maybe he's dealing with some technical difficulties. We won't know until he tells us. Oh my goodness, here we are. Everybody moving up through the field. Fernando B up into P4. Josh Moment just behind him. They've been working together using that slipstream, and look at them go. Fernando B up into P3. Josh Moment into P4. Fernando's not done. He goes on the inside of SSD. SSD has to go out wide. That was 3 wide there for a second. Fernando Button going for the lead, and he gets the lead. That is a new race leader. No, Papa back up in the lead. Who is Josh Moment going to support, or is Josh Moment going to go up the inside? He does. He gets behind Papa. BHR teammates. No, Papa taking the Joker, but he bails out. He bails out. He's going to have to do it again. Papa's blinker was on, but could not get it slowed down. That puts Fernando Button into P1. Josh Moment into P2. SSC P3. Oh my goodness, Papa bailed out. Let's take a look at this again. You can see he turns his turn signal on the brakes, realizes it's not going to work, and there he goes. He's going to have to try that again, which is good news for Metal. He might have a buddy after all.
Yeah, I couldn't quite tell, but I think Papa might have been a little hesitant to hit the brakes because he was being followed really closely. If he had to hit the brakes, he definitely would have gotten rear-ended most likely. We see VKG and Ecstasy attempting their Joker laps.
Ooh.
Oh, VKG into the wall does get a second half penalty. Papa does complete his Joker lap as well, and Metal did complete his a few laps ago. We got a replay. Let's see, he gets it slowed down.
Up ahead.
But then, yeah, just slides going into the corner and just couldn't quite get it reeled back in.
So there might be a penalty for the driver ahead of him for cutting the chicane like that, but VKG definitely lost out on that one, so I don't think any additional penalties need to be assessed. Josh Moment in the lead. New leader with left just behind. Then we have Vetterdan, Fernando B, Ecstasy, Metal, Papa, and VKG. So quite the shakeup there with these drivers. Josh Moment now leading by a healthy half a second. What happened to Fernando? He was...
I caught the very tail end of it, but he just completed his Joker.
Okay, and that explains why SSC has so much more speed. So Fernando serving his Joker only in P5. That is not a bad place to be after serving your Joker.
Josh is taking his in P3. Takes his very cleanly.
Very beautiful Joker lap from Josh Moment. Now this is, in my opinion, where BHR has the advantage. They do stuff, I mean, not just like this, but they all know alternate routes around the track. So not surprising to see them do well, as Left is now our race leader in P1. This is his first race of the night. Very good to see him in P1. Still has not taken his Joker though. So we'll see what he's able to do, or if he's even been paying attention, and maybe he just runs this normal. As Better Dan, he tries for it. He goes deep, not too bad of a cut, gets it slowed down, keeps it pointing straight, get above the yellow line before you get reset. And you know what? That wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I think the stewards would mark that as acceptable.
Right.
I would give him a C- on that one.
Yeah, he passed it. He's not getting taken out for pizza or anything afterwards, but he passed. As we see SSC up into P2, Josh Moment not far behind. It's Dodge Vipers 1, 2, and 3 with a Ford in P4 and a Chevrolet in P5. We see Metal, pretty big gap between Metal and Vetterdan. We are on lap 10 of 40. All drivers will be having to pit, and gotta be honest, Metal looked good on fuel. He's halfway through the stint and he got half a tank of fuel. It seems like all his practice in these opening races has paid off. As we see Papa and VKG now working together, coming around in P7 and P8, bringing up the rear. Going back on board with our leader Left, who has a commanding lead, 11, almost 12 seconds, and he's taking the Joker. He's got the 11-second lead, and wow, that was a good Joker. That was
his first time going through. That was that was pretty good. That one I'd give him a B for that one. A little bit of a cut.
Oh. Yeah, a little bit of a cut, but look at that gaggle behind him. He's got 2 Bs and an S to C, and they go flying past, so you can really see how much time you do lose by taking that Joker, because it takes you so long to get back up to speed. And when you have a pack of 3 cars working together like that, I mean, they're just moving. Fernando B, our new race leader, going from last to first to all over the place to back to first. Looking fly, man. He's got his teammate, PHR teammate Josh Moment just behind him, and then SSC following there. And it looks like Left is looking pretty good. It doesn't look like Vetterdan's going to have too much overspeed, as Vetterdan goes way high up on the wall, avoids getting a penalty, and keeps it going. So Left looking good there in P4. How are we looking fuel-wise across the board there, Tussum? Anybody in danger of not making it to the halfway point?
I would say right now, Vetterdan, his fuel's a bit low compared to the other drivers. The remaining drivers are mostly around the same area, with the exception of Josh Moment, who has a bit more than everybody else. Most of the other drivers are sitting at just over about 3/8 of a tank, whereas Josh Moment, he's sitting just a few liters ahead of everyone else.
Okay, awesome. And Papa there in P7 with VKG. So, I mean, VKG using the tow. I know this isn't necessarily in his wheelhouse. He's more of a, a daily race B. Though he does like to set those good lap times on daily race A's. He does go for those top 100s. But we see S to C there, taking that overspeed, trying to get ahead of Josh Moment and Fernando B. But Josh Moment able to stay in Fernando's slipstream just isn't going to work out for SSC, as he gets a little bit of a wiggle. We're starting to see that tire wear now, that front right tire. We saw it in the last 2 races. At some point, a driver is going to go deep into the wall. It's almost inevitable.
And it's crazy to see the difference in the tire wear between the FR and the MR cars. Mm-hmm. If you look at Fernando B's tires, he's getting a little more wear on his right rear, whereas all the other cars, the Dodges and the Chevys, they're all getting most of their wear on the front right tire.
Right. All that weight in the Ford is over the rear wheels, and so applying the pressure when they hit these turns going full throttle, I mean, that's so much force on the outside tires. Where the weight is definitely going to cause the wear. as we see left's front right and Vetterdan's front right. That big Chevrolet V8 must be very heavy, as we see, which makes sense because of all the power it uses.
It's only a 6.2 liter V8. Nothing crazy.
Nothing crazy. Don't you worry about it. Indeed. You see Papa and VKG working together really good, trying to catch up to Metal and Vetterdan. Currently just over 5.5 seconds. Looking okay on fuel. We're at lap 16, almost lap 17. It's going to be whether or not they can continue to drive this close together. 'Cause this is when it gets sketchy. There is a bit of dirty air, and you're starting to lose grip. So keeping it pinned close behind the car in front of you gets trickier and trickier, and it can result in the car behind spinning out the car ahead if they bump wrong at the wrong angle. But so far, so good between these two guys. And look at this. These, I mean, 3 in a row, looking like some ducklings, just marching down the Daytona Tri-Oval. If you were one of these 3 drivers, which one would you like to be? Up there in front, in the middle, or where Essie's at?
The middle is always scary because you gotta bump draft the car ahead properly, but then you also have to hope that the car behind bump drafts properly. I think S to C right now, he's got the best seat in the house. He's getting pretty much maximum fuel saving right now. Although, to be fair, I think looks like he has the least amount of fuel out of the cars ahead. Maybe not fully taking advantage of that slipstream, but yeah, if I were any one of these cars, I would much prefer to be in P3.
Indeed, and it does look like he's washed up a little wide into the turns, but now he's tucked back in, and it does get a bit sketchy. Looks like left, still in kind of no man's land as Vetterdan chooses to come into the pits. That's very early. He's going to have a tough second stint. He's going to be, well, you know what? He might come out with the leaders here. We'll see where he comes out. If he can come out with a buddy, though, whoever he comes out with is going to have to pit. So he kind of burned up all his fuel and now is going to have what I imagine to be a bit of a lonely race. Fernando B. Is he going in the pits? Fernando's in.
I was just going to say that, yeah, Vetterdan, he's definitely going to have a bit of a struggle to try to claw back some positions. We got Papa and Viking King coming into the pits. Vetterdan exiting the pits just as they came in.
Looks like Josh Moment running low on fuel. SSC potentially looking at taking the lead. SSC not looking great on fuel. Josh Moment, a new race leader there as the strategies are starting to pay out. They will have fresher tires at the end of the race as well and potentially have to take less fuel. As we see SSC, Josh Moment. SSC gets ahead of Josh as they enter the pits. However, Josh is going to need to take slightly less fuel as he has 8% left versus SSC's 2%. Left coming into the pits with no fuel. And it looks like... who's coming out on top? We are on board with Fernando B, trying to catch back up and come out in the mix with these top drivers. We saw it happen last race with Papa on the first race, I'm sorry, where they had 2 different pitting strategies but still came out together. Where is Fernando going to be as Josh Moment, SSC, and left, who doesn't quite take a full tank of fuel? And it looks like Fernando gets up into P3, but he should take the lead with his overspeed. Seems to me like if you can make the fuel last, the undercut is where it's at. What do you think about that?
Yeah, the driver's pitting a bit early. I guess it's the advantage that they have on the fresher tires that allows them to just have a bit of a faster outlet. So Fernando B, yeah, he's going to have to go a little bit longer on his fuel compared to those behind him, but the Ford GT, it seems to be, from what I can tell, it seems to be a bit more fuel efficient than the others, just running a smaller V6 compared to the V8s and the V10s of the other cars.
Indeed, yeah, it really does. Having the turbo, the eco boosts, if you will, that was one of the big things on Ford, was having a more fuel efficient but still powerful machine, and it seems to be paying off for Fernando. Just a matter of if he can make it last. If SC can catch up to Josh, they can work together to catch back up to Fernando. If we go back to Metal in P6, he's got Papa just behind him. Papa making the move because Metal is clearly running a fuel map as he's barely getting over 206 miles per hour. Papa easily through, VKG just behind, and it looks like VKG's going to go up the inside. Oh, there was a tiny bit of touch, but it looks like everything is okay as VKG got a little bit low on the apron, gets by Metal, and allows himself to tuck back in behind Papa. That was a close call. So they are moving up the pack. If they can continue to work together, VKG and Papa have been closing by a second now to the leaders up there, now at 13 seconds. We're on lap 23 of 40, so plenty of time for them to catch up to the leaders. We'll see if Metal can adjust his fuel mapping a little bit using the slipstream to keep up with these two and march his way up front.
Fernando B right now, he's got almost a 2-second gap over Ecstasy, but Josh in P3 has caught up to the back of Ecstasy, so they're now going to be able to work together to try to claw that gap back from Fernando.
Yeah, the two Vipers working together. Just a matter of keeping it clean, trying to catch up to Fernando B in the Ford, but it's looking good so far for Fernando. It's going to be, we've seen how hard it is to do that final overtake at the end of the race. I believe everybody's caught up to lap traffic, and it's made it a challenge to make that move. So as long as Fernando can keep himself ahead, he's got a good chance of winning this thing. Pulling a last to first. I would love to see that. Metal now getting a move potentially on VKG around the outside, unable to keep it low, going wide and having to tuck back in. Looks like Papa's pulled away from VKG a little bit. I'm sure he'll catch up at the end of this straight in the slipstream. Going 207, 208, 209 miles an hour now. Catches the back of Papa and pushes him along through the corner. They're doing a great job. Clean driving. You can see VKG kind of wobbling back and forth. It's hard to keep it straight through those turns at this speed. And look at that gap closing down. They are in the slipstream now. Ecstasy, Josh Moment looking to take the lead away from Fernando B. Ecstasy going for it right now around the outside, and he is going to lose out, and that may allow Josh Moment. It does. Josh Moment in Fernando B's slipstream. They're going side by side as we're about to finish lap 26. If Josh Moment can keep it together, he's going to take P2. And there we have it. Ecstasy being in your preferred slot, Tussum, kind of sit back and watch and see what happens.
Yeah, honestly, in that situation, Ecstasy, I'm not sure what his HUD looks like, but he should have realized he was in the middle of a BHR bread sandwich. And as soon as he pulled out to the side, Josh Moment took that option to give the bump draft to his teammate. So now they're running P1 and P2. And they'll be in control of this race, I assume, for the next few laps.
Indeed. Brigsby must be proud. I've seen him in the chat. Buzz, BHR trying to get a 1-2 in the final race of the first ever Joker Series. Y'all, if you don't know what this is, click that link pinned in the chat. It's going to take you to the website, tell you all about the Joker Series. Salamander has put in a lot of work for this, and it is paying off. I don't know about you, Tussum, but I've been having a blast tonight.
Yeah, it's almost making me regret doing comms for this race. It's looking like a lot of fun. I knew it would be fun, but I don't think many of us anticipated this much action.
Indeed. I did see, as VKG is going to take it away from Papa. VKG up into P6. I see C-Dubs say he was going to try to do comps for the next one if you want to get in on the racing action. So, definitely an option for you. But this one, we did a good bit of testing here and a good bit of practice as we still have this three-way battle for first place, but BHR's able to hold on to it. I think he would have done really well here, Tussin.
Yeah, while that battle for the top three is happening, it looks like Vetter Dan in P5 has caught up to the back of left in that Viper in P4.
All right.
Vetter Dan, though, his fuel is a bit low. He's under the halfway point, like just under half a tank of fuel. So if he doesn't start fuel saving now, he's going to end up needing either a second pit stop or he's just going to run out of gas.
Indeed, and I mean, luckily he has caught the slipstream, so that will help. He can adjust his fuel mapping accordingly and just kind of, fuel save a little bit, but he wants to get past left. Vetter Dan is a competitor, and he loves his Corvettes. He does not want to finish behind a Viper, at least directly behind a Viper, as he is set to finish behind three Vipers and a Ford. He's trying to make it as few Vipers as possible. And that's me trying to say Viper as many times as I can. BKG and Papa both in the Viper, coming around lap 31 of 40. So this, people have definitely figured this out. They figured out the strat. They still are liking to run that Joker series early. But we are seeing how the undercut is strong here. So pitting early, Joker lap early can play to your advantage just because of how much speed you have there at the end. As we look at Metal and P8 bringing up the rear in the Corvette, just under 2 seconds behind Papa and VKG. I don't know that with his fuel mapping where it's at, he is looking good on fuel, but with the Papa and VKG working together, I don't know how Metal is going to be able to catch them without burning up too much fuel.
I'm looking at the fuel tanks of VKG and Papa, and they are a bit on the lower side, just a little bit past the half tank mark. I think they might struggle a bit in the later portion of the stint. Might want to consider just saving a bit of fuel, whereas Metal, he looks like he's right on target, but just doesn't have the pace to keep up with those two working together.
Yeah, so that's the adaptability, figuring out how to work your strategy coming into play. SSC still sitting in P3, happy to be there, I think, as Fernando B. I mean, if he wins this race, you can't argue with that. Last to first, driver of the race. But Josh Bowman also not starting off too great, working his way through. So these drivers really showing how much time they have spent here at Daytona.
Yeah, I'm starting to think, like, if in this particular 1, 2, 3, if I were in Estacy's shoes, I would do my best to try to disrupt those two, because those two are not going to be disconnected by anything. And it's going to be a struggle to try to overtake them without that slip. So I don't know. I think Team BHR, they might have this all locked up, and it doesn't look like there's going to be any lap traffic within the next few laps. So yeah, we'll see if Estacy has any tricks up his sleeve, but he's going to have to start thinking about that really soon.
Yeah, the battle for the lead is hot, and it looks like the battle for P4 is heating up as well, as BKG ahead of Papa now, all over the back of left. Metal, or Vetterdan having fallen back, realizing his fuel not quite working out for him. So now BKG and Papa going to try to work together and get up into P4 and P5. Nice to see these two pockets of more than 2 cars battling it out here as we're about to start laps 36 of 40 there with our leaders. But VKG in P5 pulling Papa along, but just not quite close enough to left to make any moves just quite yet. It seems to have a pretty decent gap to Papa, so it seems like everybody's running some type of mapping or some type of strategy for fuel, as now VKG has caught left. So just like that, VKG pulled up behind left. Is he going to go for a move or stay there? Only time will tell.
So I'm watching a battle for the lead right now, and looking at Fernando B's fuel, I had mentioned earlier that Ford GT might be the most fuel efficient car, but he has the lowest fuel out of those top 3, and it's actually getting close to a critical level with 4 laps to go. So yeah, I don't know if SSE is listening, but this would be his chance to attack. Fernando, I think he's going to have to start doing a little bit of fuel saving to make it to the end of the race.
I think SSE did react there, yeah.
Yeah, it looked like he did try to make a move there, but went a bit too far to the outside. Hopefully he can get a nice little slingshot after Josh gives Fernando that bump draft, so we'll see.
Yeah, look at SSE's tire. That front right, it has to be a challenge to keep that thing not understeering up into the wall. Josh Moment's looking slightly better. Fernando's front looks great, but that rear, you know, we could see a bit of a spin if a bump happens at the right time. Fernando going a little low, and now Josh Moment making the move on his BHR teammate. Now we have a new leader. Fernando Button not able to keep the traction. Josh Moment goes around the outside. Wow, that was unexpected.
Yeah, I don't know if they're in communications with one another, but that lack of fuel from Fernando is definitely playing a part now. I don't know, maybe he wanted to get behind Josh so he can save a bit more fuel just to survive to the end of the race.
As we were about to start our penultimate lap, Josh Moment in the lead, followed by Fernando, then SSE. They are running out of time if SSE wants to take a victory here, but it's looking like BHR is putting up a fight as we go back for the battle for P4. Left still able to stay ahead of VKG and Papa, both pushing, both low on fuel, and look at Papa's front right. That looks like a struggle. VKG going for the move round the outside, but I don't think he's going to have it. This is going to let Papa back through up into P5 potentially as we go back on board with our leaders as they are about to start the final lap. Josh Moment, then SSE. SSE able to get ahead of Fernando. Fernando in just trying to finish the race in damage control mode. Finishing P3 would be excellent. He is 13 seconds ahead of VKG, so still going from last to third, an excellent result. But SSE now around the outside, he is pushing. They are on the back straight, wheel to wheel. Josh Moment will have the inside. Can SSE do anything around the outside, carrying a little bit of overspeed? He's got a little bit of a wiggle. He's going to cut back in. This could be it. Around the outside again, into the wall, and he has to tuck back in. And Josh Moment is going to take the win of this race, followed by SSE, then Fernando B. And look at this, we got another drag race further back. VKG left, Papa, they're going 3 wide across the line. Who is going to be in P4? That is VKG in P4, left in P5, Papa in P6. Incredible finish. Metal P7 and Better Dan to cross the line. Holy smokes. 3 abreast across the line there for P4, Tussum.
Yeah, I think like 6 of those drivers crossed the line with absolutely no fuel.
That was an incredible finish as we look here at these race results, and Salamander doing his job, saving that replay. Way to go. We have BHR Josh Moment in the lead, winning this race. Then we have PHG SSE bringing it to a Viper 1-2. Then BHR Fernando B in the Ford in P3. VKG doing well up into P4. with the Viper, then left in P5, giving us that great finish. Papa with the fastest lap in P6, also in the Viper. And surprise, surprise, Corvette doing a P7, P8 there with Metal and Vetterdan. Woo! Woo! That well, that was something. We had 3 very different races there, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, a lot of action going on in all those races. I think this race was probably the cleanest as far as the Joker lap. Well, with the exception of Papa, he got his a little bit wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was action packed, especially that last shootout for the lead at the end. Fernando not quite able to stick with the lead group due to that fuel consumption, but he put in a valiant effort to maintain P3 even after running out of fuel towards the end.
Great race. Great race. All right. Well, we got to give you our drivers of this race, and we'll take a quick break and then come back, and Sal will close us out. I mean, amazing job, everyone. Thank you all for being here and being a part of this. I've got to say my driver of that race is Josh Moment. I know that's an easy pick, but BHR showing up and doing good things there. So good job, Josh. What about you, Tussum?
I'm gonna give mine to Ecstasy. He was basically fighting a 2 against 1 in that race, and the win it was in his grasp, but it looks like it was gonna be impossible for most of the race. But no, he put in a valiant effort, almost had it in the end. But yeah, I got to give it to Ecstasy for this race.
Indeed. So there you have it. We're going to take a quick break. Please vote for your driver of the race. A poll's going to be pinned in the chat. And then we'll come back with Salamander, maybe go over what next week race is going to be again in case you missed it, and close things out. But don't go anywhere. Thanks, everybody. Awesome stuff.
One twist, one trick, had to break the map. The fool with the crown takes the Joker lap. Let it roll, let it riot.
We don't run with the rules, we redraw the lines. Paint my wheels in chaos, cut time with knives. Split second grin with the sideways slide. Jester in the mirror, madness in my drive. Tire scream, I hear him laughing. Mid-race flip, I'm stunning in action. All eyes watch as I roll and snap. They cut the track, I take the Joker lap. Joke's on you. Joke's on you. Round and round. No path is true.
Let the jester lead, let the chaos bleed. Cut across the edge where madness fades.
Let Joker, let me break the map. Wild card racer in a technicolor trap. Spin that grin, let the rubber burn black. Who needs rules when the tricks bring back? Roll the die, shift the track. I'm back. Shortcut mind in a midnight mask. Flick up the wrist, twist of the cap. I win dirty, call it Joker lap.
into a black hole. No good, no evil, just a thrill. Clown crown bound by my own free will. No script, no fate, no final map. Just smoke and mirrors in the Joker lab. Green light, I saw him once on a midnight bend. A grin like fire, a curve with no end. Did he win? Did he fall? Did the race collapse? No one knows. Past the Joker lap. Walk back to bed, I beat the trap. Text my mind in a synapse snap. Loop my lane in a twisted map. Burn through time on the Joker lap. Race your all you play. Fools take the road. I carve my own way.
All right, and we're back. And this time you guys can hear me, right? So, oh man, we had 3 really good races tonight, and even that last one, I think you guys, Telsman and TCase called it really well. That as the races went on, and the guys are getting more familiar with how the Joker Lap stuff works, how this combo is going, that they really started to put it together. We saw a number of packs staying together, especially in that third race. That was a fun one to watch. It looked like a fun one to commentate.
It was, and I said at the beginning of this broadcast, I was hoping to be yelling at the end of one of these races, and I got what I asked for, because that was so exciting as those drivers came across the line, multiple battles for various positions. I loved it.
Yeah, the way it played out, it was like everybody just bided their time, and then lap 38, everything just started to happen all at once. It was absolutely exactly what everybody came here for.
Yeah, I was surprised. We were on like lap 4 or 6, and we saw Fernando and Josh were already up in like 4th and 5th position from last place. So like they rocketed right up through the field, got themselves out in the lead, and then BHR working together. I mean, those guys, I'm sure, were talking. It was like, hey, let's just stick together and things will work out. And that seems what happened for them. So, I mean, having Fernando have a little bit of an issue at the end, that got dropped back to 3rd, but all in all, BHR came out on top on the 3rd one. Congrats to them.
Yeah, indeed. It was, I do know that they do Daytona Tri-Oval every Tuesday, that BHR crew. So it is well ingrained in their memories. Very cool to see all the fun Beehive lobbies practice paying off.
Definitely. All right, well, let's close down the driver of the race. It looks like Fernando is going to win driver of the race for that one. He did lead like the most laps out of that race, so no surprise there. Congrats to Fernando for putting together a really nice performance in that one, and helping get his teammate to the lead. So, all right, so from there, let's review what we're going to do next month. We did that after the last race, but I'm sure some people have missed it. So we're going to once again show what we got going on next month, we have got the Tsukuba circuit, and we got 4 different cars to choose from. A lot of different options here. We've got a 4-wheel drive car, 2 mid-engine cars, a front-engine rear drive car. Thing I mentioned before is that the one nugget in here is that the RX-7 does have a tunable rear wing that I'm going to leave enabled. So that's the one tuning option you're going to have if you want to take the RX-7 and run that one around Tsukuba. You can see in the graphic there where the Joker lap is. It's right after where that big Dunlop tire turn is at. It's a corner where you're really trying to carry as much speed through, and that one's going to be a little tricky because you're going to have the Joker lap drivers needing to slow down more at that apex to make the Joker section of the track right after it. And those not taking the Joker lap are going to have to take a wider line and definitely get slower through that corner. So it's going to be quite a bit different strategy, quite a different way that the Joker lap is going to impact these drivers at this shorter track and with these lower horsepower cars. TCase, you said you've driven these cars around this track before.
Oh yeah. Tsukuba's a staple in TCase lobbies, and we've used all of these cars at some point. Definitely going to be interesting. The all-wheel drive, bit heavier Audi TT will be interesting with tire wear on that. You mentioned the RX-7 with the tunable wing. I know for a fact the RX-7 is fun to drive around here, so we'll see. Then you got the 4C, which, I mean, we all know what the 4C is capable of when it comes to tire wear. And then the Alpine, not too different, but last I drove that Alpine, it was a bit of a handful as far as the back end wanting to step out. So very different cars, but all very competitive with one another. It's going to depend on people's driving style and what they feel comfortable with. Hopefully we get a lot more people putting in practice here and developing a little bit more of a strategy as we go into the second round.
Yes, absolutely. What do you think of this one, Tuzum?
Yeah, this one is, as mentioned before, it's a major contrast to the Joker lap and just the overall race from here. You know, here we were traveling 200 miles an hour. We're on the brakes for about 5-6 seconds just to get to the Joker lap. But here, this one's more so, at least the way I'm visioning it. I haven't run it just yet. But yeah, just taking a slightly tighter line coming out of, I think that's turn 6, and just hugging the inside a little bit longer. So the deltas aren't going to be as massive as they are here at Daytona. So we could potentially see some people taking a Joker lap, but still being able to keep with the pack. So I think it's going to be maybe even more of a hectic race than the races that we've seen today.
Indeed. And actually, I wanted to point out that the exit of that Joker lap is on the racing line for those drivers who aren't taking it. So they're both going to want to be occupying that space there on the outside, which is going to kind of make things a little more chaotic. And of course, Sal will put out the rules as far as where the protection zone will be for that. But that's definitely something to consider as well.
Yep. So, I mean, definitely as a reminder, everybody needs to go check out the website. I'm going to be updating it right after we end the stream tonight. I basically got the webpage ready to go. I've got the document created along with the little demo video of how to properly take the Joker lap, but it's going to have those different points of where you need to have your turn signal on, where the Joker lap driver has, the rights to the track, and where other people need to avoid them. So you're definitely going to want to check that out and read up. You're probably going to have your head on a little bit more of a swivel at this track because you got to watch for the guys going in, and you're also going to have to watch for the guys going out. And it's not just a matter of kind of moving over a lane. It's going to be affecting your entry speed and exit speed to corners. So it's, like Tuzum said, this is going to be quite a bit different than what we did at Daytona here, for sure. All right, so with that being said, I think this was a pretty successful event. I mean, this went about as well as I could have expected for the first ever, Joker series. Thank you, TCase and Tuzum, for helping out, doing commentary. You guys did a great job. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, so I think with that, we're just gonna end off the stream for tonight. TCase, I'll let you say goodbyes before we close her out.
Later, y'all. Have a good one.
And Tuzum, you too.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help control the box population. Have your boxes crushed and recycled.
All right, and that will do it. So thank you everybody for watching. For those of you still out there, please remember, hit that like button. Please consider subscribing to the channel. We are going to be doing more of this, along with other league racing stuff that I do, either racing or also doing commentary stuff like the PHG World Series. I believe TCase is going to be running the broadcast for the PHG World Series this Saturday, so in 2 days.
Indeed.
So definitely go check out his channel. I've got it sitting up there on the screen. Tuzumbox also does streaming over on Twitch. I got his on there up on the screen as well, so definitely go check him out. But yeah, until next time, we'll see you guys next month at Tsukuba, and maybe I'll see you in the meantime on just some regular live streams. So take care, everybody. Have a good one. Peace out. Be nice to each other. We'll catch you. Bye-bye.